Good afternoon, good day, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to HeroesCCL presented by Wisdom. My name's Bahamut, joined by Grubby and Justing, and we're here into Week 7, Day number 1. This is the final weekend of our round robin, our group stage, if you will, actually, for the HeroesCCL Season 3. I'm really excited to get into all of this, and we can start breaking down teams, rosters, all of that good stuff. But first thing first, as always, I got to check in with my casters and my analysts as well. Justing, first, how are you doing, my friend? What'd you get up to in this past week?
I'm doing pretty good. I got to cast the HRCS finals last night, which went to Game 5. Really exciting games. It's cool to see the talent from the amateur scene that wants to feed into the CCL. It was nice to see that, a lot of new players that I haven't seen before and kind of being impressed by them. So hopefully we'll get to see them in the next season of CCL later on.
Yeah, it's a great tournament series run by a couple of our orgs here in HeroesCCL, and I actually just want to let you all know that there is a second run of that tournament after the holiday break. So if you are interested to check out Heroes Rise Contender Series, you can do so, and you can actually check them out on Twitter at Heroes_Rise. But Grubby, you've been quite busy. You had a long day yesterday, and I'm sure you've been up to a lot of stuff. But how are you doing? Are you ready for an awesome day of HeroesCCL action?
Yeah, my third day of casting in a row. Thursday kind of by myself, just analyzing replays. Yesterday we had the tournament, so that went pretty late. Long games. And today looking forward to casting some CCL. Didn't have too much luck in my HoTS games today myself, so it's always nice to know that CCL will definitely exceed expectations with level of play and coordination. Looking forward to that.
Looking forward to a lot of great games today, but first we got to let you know about that wonderful prize pool that we have here at HeroesCCL and how that prize pool is going to get broken down. You can see that 60% of the donations will be going to the players, first place taking 35% of said 60%, and then as always, to be transparent with all of you at home, we are going to be having that 40% come back to Wisdom to create graphics and cover the league expenses to be able to run HeroesCCL. So thank you all at home for supporting HeroesCCL. If you'd like to donate towards the prize pool or check out the Match Arena, which I have heard that anyone who was having issues last weekend with the Match Arena, apparently those have been fixed. So if you do want to check out Match Arena and you do want to donate to the prize pool, ! prize pool in chat. And we are so close to that $10,000. We're at $9,369.69 nice cents, Grubby. A lot of really amazing support from this community.
Yeah. Real attention to the details too. We always appreciate that. But thanks for the support. We've almost reached $10,000. Who knows? Maybe we'll reach it today. If people are looking to support CCL, the players and the organization some. We'll see how that goes, but one thing is for sure, the players are going to be working hard and showing their best games. And as usual, we've got 2 best of 5s coming at you today and 2 more tomorrow. And that marks the end of our league regular season, but then it gets even more exciting with the gauntlet and the playoffs finally.
And we can actually start talking a little bit about the gauntlet right now because we have the league standings, Justing, and we already kind of know that Granite Gaming and Chili Mountain will be starting out that gauntlet after our holiday break. But can you break down, the standings right now and any sort of potential swaps we could see after this weekend?
Yeah, so 30K and Simplicity are fairly solidified here. With their 5-1 records, it's going to be really tough to knock them out, if not impossible. But we do have Storm Esports, who is in that 3-3 position, tied with Diamond Hands and WildHeart. We're going to see all of them play this weekend, and all of these teams, especially Diamond Hands, WildHeart, Storm, and Oxygen, are really going to be contesting that middle of the pack, trying to get up to that third spot. The third spot is extremely important for when you go into the playoffs, so it's very important for all these teams that are kind of stuck in the middle right now.
Definitely a lot of things that can shift in that middle of the pack, and maybe not so much at the top, but we can take a look at the games, the matches we're going to be seeing here today on Saturday, December 18th. We're going to have Storm Esports go up against Granite Gaming and WildHeart versus Oxygen Esports. It's going to be a great day of games. I got to ask Grubby, what's your anticipated matchup? Is it this first one or the second one for today?
Well, I think it should be the second one here. WildHeart, of course, with that score, as you just saw, at 3-3, and Oxygen at 4-2, should, in theory, be the closest match. A bit closer than the 3-3 versus 1-5, but only off by about 1 match. And Granit, Granit looks pretty good sometimes, but they also have a little bit of lack of coordination. And at the end of the day, you can fix that in a week with some good practice if their schedules align. And I think it's going to be a fun match. Storm also not 100% perfect. Sometimes they go a little overconfident, it looks like, in some of their decision making. But I think the second match in particular is going to be sick.
Yeah, we can start diving into this first best of 5 of the day, and I agree, that second matchup will be fun because there's a lot of contested points right there in positioning, but this first one, and we do have Lauber from time to time, diving in a little too aggressive as we have got BBJ, Dequaza, IBTings, Lauber, Rutso, and CPX, a really strong core roster. BBJ always having to save Lauber from his Diablo diving from time to time, but when we look at the opposing side of the battleground, Justin, what are your thoughts on this Granit Gaming roster?
So Granit Gaming has looked quite a bit better recently since they made the addition of Red Robot. They've got Henning on support, Red Robot playing tank. Skog has swapped to more of a ranged position. Swamp Grotto playing the off lane, and Gia is the flex for the team. I think Gia brings a lot to comms and just in shot calling value. And whatever addition Red Robot has brought just to the team morale, like they talked about in their interview, I think that really has kind of ignited a new flame in the team. So while they are lower in the standings, I'll be kind of excited to see how they match up into Storm Esports, who, while they are able to take games against the best teams, have been a bit inconsistent against the weaker teams.
We'll have to see how all that shakes up here in a little bit. The next thing we need to get into, and this is quite important, is we have Next Level Gaming joining us for HeroesCCL Season 3 as our sponsor. Next Level Gaming is a Miami-based esports center, or LAN center, where you can actually go and watch HeroesCCL on the weekends, and you can also play Heroes the Storm over at their LAN center. They've actually just upgraded their computers. They have HP Omens with Intel i7s and RTX 3090s, which, 3090 for Heroes the Storm really can make you, it really smooths things out for you. And speaking of smoothness, they've actually got 2 monitor options for you as well. They've got a 24-inch monitor at 240 hertz, and they got a 32-inch monitors at 144 hertz. So a lot of really cool tech that's over at Next Level Gaming in Miami, and you can use !NXT in chat to find out more about this esports center, as well as all of their equipment that they have just upgraded as well. So make sure you check them out. But it's a really cool day of amazing games. And one really quick thing as well, one of our live coordinators, Alex Dids, it's his birthday, and I don't know if he's floating around in chat, but if you do see him somewhere in Twitch chat, make sure you give him a happy birthday, because it is our wonderful friend Alexander's birthday today. So shout out to him for all of his hard work, and I hope he has a wonderful day. But Grubby, Justin, we are getting ready for this first best of 5 of the day, and we can start breaking down where we're heading into for this first map in our first best of 5. It's going to be Granit Gaming choosing to take us to Infernal Shrines. But if you're wondering how we got here, Storm Esports won the coin flip, opting for first pick priority, banning out Dragonshire, and Granit Gaming will ban out Tomb of the Spider Queen. And really quickly, before I get both of your thoughts on this match and matchup, just want to quickly get those stats out for anyone that are wondering about Infernal Shrines. The members of Storm Esports are 2-1, 2 wins, 1 loss, and the side of Granit Gaming, they're 1-1, so they got a 50% win rate on this map. And stats, they're in a vacuum, but it's always nice to kind of take a look at them. But as we get into this map, Grubby, I got to get your thoughts on the matchup, the map. What are you feeling for this game here?
Yeah, I found it peculiar that 2 of the classical maps that I think are really enjoyable and they're good to come with a prepared strategy, like Tomb of the Spider Queen and Dragonshire, have been removed, and that we leave complex maps up, like Towers of Doom, Alterac to a degree, as well as Volskaya Foundry, just where a lot of weird tech can come in, long games. Neither Granit nor Storm looking to avoid that particular happenstance, which I think it's interesting. More than that, accepting where we are, it will be nice to see how much of the previous week's meta, that first week on the new patch, is going to remain intact here. Will we see a lot of Johanna coming out again? Will we see Rhaegar coming out? Or maybe even bans on either one of them? Between the two, in my opinion, Johanna was the more threatening than Rhaegar, despite his win rate being the highest on the ladder.
Rhaegar has been definitely making some waves, and I've been on the receiving end and the playing end of Rhaegar, and he's in a really good spot. But I gotta get your thoughts as well, Justin, as the bans are coming through from both these teams.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Grubby on this. The Johanna just seems kind of ridiculous how strong she feels after the patch. The I think the main thing is just the change to the level 1 talent, the having 2 charges of blind, but the increased damage. Once you get to level 16 and you get the cooldown reduction, I tested it in try mode, and you basically can just get 3 blinds in a row if you can hit 4 targets, and each one does like 1,000 damage at level 20, so that's why she's doing so much damage. I was trying to figure out why she's topping the damage chart every time we see Johanna, and I think that one talent change to her level 1 is actually the reason for it. And it makes sense to ban it away. I think it's too strong.
Yeah.
But in exchange, they do end up getting that Rhaegar, and Granite Gaming banned the Stukov from second pick, which is very weird. You would have kind of expect teams to trade the Stukov and the Rhaegar, but they're not having any of that. They've got other priority picks in mind, and they do pick up the Hog or Tychus instead.
Stukov has been banned 9 times by Granite Gaming. That's actually their top ban when it comes into HeroesCCL Season 3, so I wonder if it's just one of those things where they don't want to play against it and they don't want to utilize it themselves. Either way, it's a Hogger Tychus, Leoric, and I wonder, do we get a Lauber Muradin? Maybe not just yet, but we are going to get that Air Muradin, Grubby.
Yep, Falstad coming out makes sense. Just a really, really good pick. Might see both of the dwarves coming out. Quick note as well, Bahamut and Justin, on the players. We've got Carbon playing instead of Gia for Granite, and we've got CPX playing for Storm.
Got some shakeups or subs coming in today for both these teams. We'll see how Carbon plays for Granite Gaming. Carbon, if I'm not mistaken, has a really good really good ranged assassin. Like Li Ming is something that comes to mind. I don't know, Justin. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. I've seen him play a ton of Li Ming. I'm pretty sure he has a Smurf account that is just has Li Ming's some wizard name like Li Ming, and yeah, he's very good at it. I know I've had one game where I was in Storm League and I had his Li Ming on my team and I didn't know it was him, and he was following up on every single stun I had, and I'm just like, who is this guy? This guy's nuts. And it makes sense because it is Carbon, and Carbon is a player who's been around for quite a while. It's nice to be able to see him play. He also has a very, very good Maiev, which might be part of the reason why Storm Esports decided to ban that in the first rotation here. So already forcing targeted bans in the draft, that's a big advantage just out the gates. And that's really good to see, especially for someone who's your sub.
Now, Justin, I want to continue on this train of thought with you here. What do you think of this Mei being picked up for the side of Granite Gaming? She hasn't had the most explosive playstyle in CCL this season.
Yeah, she's very defensive. She's sort of a weaker version of Johanna right now. And Red Robot is a player who has played her quite a bit in the past. And some tank players kind of gave up on Mei, but some are still playing her. Red Robot is one of them. A lot of it comes down to what seems like kind of avoiding getting one shot by the enemy front line. They've already shown the Leoric, so there's kind of a high amount of pressure being put onto the front line before we even see what tank comes out. So I think that makes sense just to sort of deny that. And they are kind of locked into this playstyle where they're going to be looking to counter-engage for the most part on the Shrine with the Mei. They're relying mostly on the Tychus to kind of just pump out that damage with the Odin and just get behind the Mei so the Mei can be safe.
It's definitely a lot of good siege potential from the Tychus as well. And as we get this Hanzo here, got to get your thoughts as well, Grubby, on what unfolded for the draft.
Yeah, if someone was equally good at every single hero, I wonder if Li Ming or even Zeratul would have made sense in that final pick there for Skog, who's the placeholder for that right now. It looks like a free draft for Zeratul, kind of. 0 stuns on the side of Storm Esports. They do have shields and movement speed, which helps a lot from Tyrael, but could have been good, especially with Brightwing as a wingwoman as well. But overall, I like the right side draft better, but then we know that the stats for the teams on the left side for Storm are better.
That is very true. Justin, as we're loading into this map for our first map of the day, I got to get your thoughts really quickly, as this might be a quick load.
Yeah, so Granite Gaming, I think, has a lot of good shrine control and clear. They've got Hogger who can spin around on the shrine. They have Tychus who can just pop the Odin and just stand there for 20 seconds straight, just barraging you with damage. So I think overall the shrine clear definitely goes to Granite Gaming. But on the side of Storm Esports, they do have pretty good team fight. They're going to be looking to play really aggressively. We might even see a potential for Bloodlust to come out. Not expecting it, but everyone on their team does really synergize quite well with the Bloodlust, so it is possible. If I was looking at just the drafts, I would say Granite Gaming has a better comp for the map. If it comes to a straight 5v5 on the Shrine, they should be able to just play around the Shrine clear advantage and win through that.
Well, it's going to be an explosive map number 1 here on Infernal Shrines, and thank you always for your analysis and your breakdown, because it is going to be quite the back and forth, and I agree with what Grubby was saying as well. When we look at the drafts on paper, I love what Granite Gaming put together, and you got the Odin just to poke at the enemy side. I do think that Zeratul could have been huge for the side of Granite Gaming. Maybe they don't have a Zeratul player, or they just want to play this this range kind of poke composition. But then, as Grubby said, when stats come down to it, it's Storm Esports up against Granite Gaming. As we actually we just get the load in right now. But it's Storm Esports, and they're really, really strong right now. So we'll have to see what happens, because we are just about into map number 1. Justin, thank you for your analysis, your breakdown. We'll see you after the game for more highlights and information, because here we go into Infernal Shrines, map number 1. Man, Grubby, we're in week 7. We're in, like, oh my god, it's crazy. We're already kind of getting towards the end of this I guess the main phase of CCL, and then we get to playoffs. But still, we got Storm Esports in the blue on the left. We got Lobber on the Tyrael, CPX on the Falstad, IBTings on the Vala, BBJ on the Rhaegar, and Dikwaza to play the Leoric. Over in the red, we're looking at Granite Gaming. Swamp Grotto on the Hogger, Skoog on the Hanzo, Red Robot on the May, Carbon on the Tychus, and heading to play the Brightwing. What do you think about all this, Grubby, as I'm calling for a Storm Esports win myself?
Yeah, May's greatest strength is her defense, and her greatest weakness is her offense. You have a fairly fast team on Storm Esports. Most of them will be able to dodge her combos. Perhaps the best combo she can make is a Snowblind into an Ice Wall into a Blizzard. Those can be hard to dodge if someone is appropriately slowed. A lot comes down to Hogger as well, who's got also a little bit of wind-ups as well in his stuns, half a second on his staggering blow. The Shockwave as well has a bit of a wind-up. So altogether, if Storm is fast, they can dodge a lot of the lockdown, and they can dance circles around Granite Gaming. But luckily on this map, you can win off of the objective by having good shrine clear. Granite Gaming has that in spades. So it really just comes down to team coordination. Is Granite Gaming able to do good macro, basically, good rotations? Then I feel like they should have a good chance with this team if they make good use of Odin to do pushes in between the objectives and have nice arrows on Hanzo. Skulk on Hanzo, Skulk in general, has been impressing, I think, on the rage damage roll.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, and speaking of this Hanzo, we are going to be seeing a target practice Hanzo. There's a fun build you can actually go with the Q build for Hanzo, and I think it's level 16. You can get the big, you basically get burst with your auto and your Q, your storm bolts or storm bow. So it's we could see that direction. I honestly expect explosive arrows at level 4 because it synergizes with the target practice, since you get the extra 100 damage after hitting every enemy hero 3 times. But you also have the 30% range increase after hitting every hero once, which does allow Skoog to play Skog to play a little safer within the map as well. But it is going to be very interesting between these teams. And Grubby, we're kind of, we're getting ready for the first objective. It's pretty standard when it comes to our rotations. I have to get your thoughts. What do you think of that new Rhaegar skin? Because BBJ is showing it off.
Dude, I love it. I'm using it too. I had to get it. It's just, a couple of shards. Definitely wanted to get it. Too bad that he doesn't have any skin in the wolf form. That's a pity.
That was exactly the thought I had. I was like, man, I look like the model skin and everything. It's so cool. It's very, it's thematic to Warcraft 3. And I was hoping that when he goes into Ghost Wolf form, that it would, the palette would change in color. But unfortunately, that's not the case. But either way, we're gonna have our first shrine.
A bit too mundane there, but God, that just brought me right back to Warcraft 3. The way the shaman looks. I went for the base skin tint. As it looks so similar to the orcish shaman, so I had to get it immediately. I think he doesn't have the base skin. He's got red arms.
This is a fancier one. This is it's BBJ. He's after some blood, so he's a little covered in blood as he's gonna get into this objective phase. A multi-shot coming out from IBTings, 12 stacks on that fire at will. Gonna have a big jump in damage at the 20, but keep in mind that's an uncapped quest, much like the Falstad Hammering Gathering Storm, as he'll get a nice jump in damage when he gets to the 30 mark, but that one also is uncapped.
Granite Gaming just shows up as 5, all 5 together in a blob, looking to maximize skeleton gain. Storm Esports is not going to try to actually get this thing. They've got a dude top, they've got a dude in the bottom of the map, and they're just stealing skeletons to prolong the capture of this objective. Storm is even chasing off a Hogger that wants to go rotate to the bot lane for free, but he doesn't get there just quite as fast. Grotte gets a stun into Rehgar in the bottom lane, and in the meantime, finally, Granit Gaming is getting their objective. But they 39 it on purpose, so the reason this happens sometimes is because you want the objective, but you want to really be able to live the moment. You want to be able to make use of it. If there's still IO cleanup to do in IO A and C, then you do that first, then you get the skeletons. It actually ends up not working out very well because Brightwing ends up dying first, and now the time is running out to take that final skeleton. Red Robot is trying to get it here, gets it, and I suppose Brightwing will be able to port in on time in order to be able to join this fight again. No, but you can't have that happen. He just spun into the enemy, they took him down, they're like, hey, he's got no E, and Storm deletes the Hogger again. Positive hero numbers on the field for Storm.
And this is a tactic leading into this objective phase from the side of Storm Esports. As you were mentioning, Grubby, they purposefully left someone in top, the Leoric. They had CPX in bottom, the Falstead, to split push. And this is going to yield not really that much experience right now. Those couple kills are going to give a little bit as well. What it does yield is a very good defense, and you're only losing your fort front gate while you've managed to push top and bottom and split soak for your team. So it's a tactic I've seen other teams in different grassroots leagues like NGS and Heroes Lounge use as well. So it's not too uncommon if you feel like the Punisher won't be utilized well for you or won't get as much value for your team. Granted, that was a Frozen Punisher, arguably the best one, but Storm, they did a great job getting that double kill per se and shutting down the advancements of Granit Gaming, only losing Fort Front Gate.
Yeah, exactly. And Frozen Punisher is potentially very, very threatening, and they have just prevented that with that double kill. And all throughout it, they got the top gate and they got some of the bottom gate. So it's one of those classical situations where giving up the first objective, if you do everything well, is going to get you actually more structural damage. We have a small lead into level 10.
It looks like we're going to have one player, it's already confirmed, one player did have a full crash, so we're going to get them back into the game as quickly as possible, so we are going to have a little bit of a pause. But in this time, we can kind of talk about what's happening with these builds, what we can expect from the next objective phase, because we are going to have a Mortar Punisher for bottom lane, and whoa. That was the fastest relog I have ever seen in my entire life, Grubby.
Yeah, like after a crash, I guess it was a game crash, not like his house collapsed or something. So he's like, well, I'll just reboot Haas. But he got in fast. That's impressive.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I'm prepared. Like, we're going to talk about talents and no, all right, we're already back into it. But I do want to note one thing, Grubby. We are kind of going into that spell power, that Q build Hanzo with the Dragon Hungers at level 7.
Okay, let's see how much stacks of spell power he can get with that. It's not too hard. 4-second cooldown on the Q, 12-second lasting duration extended by every Q hit, so it should not be too hard. Generally, sad thing is you don't get to actually buff your Dragon Arrow because you're casting it from quite far away. But you know, overall it's a good damage boosting ability.
Sorry, I was commenting under my breath right there. We were looking up in top lane. And there was a rotation from Tychus to jump into top to try and kill Leoric, and he just drains health and lives. He should have died. He should have died there, but he had like 200-something HP, and Carbon didn't have a grenade off of cooldown or anything. Oh man, Dayquaza is playing this Leoric so well. And while there's so much of this play to try and kill Dayquaza, here comes the rest of Storm Esports with a massive entomb. Sanctification?
What? Really? That feels like he felt guilty if everyone uses their ult and he doesn't. He's like, well, my friends are doing it, I'm doing it. Yeah, that was probably a little bit too much. You know, considering I think he was afraid Hogger was going to staggering blow 4 people away and then just walk away.
I think that's exactly, because that was my thought, was like, maybe there's Lobber reading the situation saying, okay, there might be some sort of defensive play from Hogger to get out of this. So let's just collapse on him and not allow that to happen. But
they're gonna contest. They're gonna contest Granit Gaming with that ice wall, with the blizzard, with the snowblind. Red Robot bought so much time.
Yep.
that they were actually going to contest, and this works out really nicely. Still, Granit Gaming loses the objective. However, they've depleted health, they've deleted mana, and made it last longer. Ice Wall is coming back before Mighty Gust is coming back. So that was a really good trade by Granit Gaming. I love it when pro players are making trades like this. Of course, you don't know exactly how it's going to go, but making trades like this without fully committing to kill or to die. All-in fight. Just like, oh yeah, that was good for us. They used an ult. Let's back off.
Taking stock of this objective phase, Hogger gets a pretty decent bounce. Not sure if it... No, it's not. Not actually... Wasn't very close to infinite. I thought it was a good lineup, but that's not the case because we have a phase shift interrupted. No, it actually does come through. I didn't think that it went through right there. I thought there was some sort of stun or something to be able to stop that from happening with maybe a Rain of Vengeance, but it's really close when it comes to skeletal defenders between these two teams, Grubby, with both of them being nearly 50% or more.
Yeah, IB Things just got a nice shot of multi-shot against 6 contested skeletons, and that pretty much equalized the count. Carbon's Odin has finished. We see Storm with positive position on the point. It's actually dead even, 27 against 27. There's the Ancestral, there's a Sanct. That Sanct was super helpful, but still, the contest goes on. 37-31. All right, Storm has got it. Not a lot of mana left. They're going to try to take down Tychus. He should be fine.
So very far forward, Leoric, I'm looking to see 2 seconds off of Entomb. Falstad, he's actually going to turn around and get the soak on the wave. CPX Bud, there's a whole Punisher. I don't think you need to get a wave right now. You've already got 13 talent here, but he's actually just going to go split soak. He's not even going to siege with the rest of this team. And I know IB Tings is, Vala has good sustained damage, but I feel like the Falstad would be... I don't know. What do you think about this, Grubby? I want to get your thoughts. In this situation where you kind of have the momentum, the talent here, would it be better to push as 5, get as much siege as you possibly can, or would you rather call for something like this where you start split soaking into another lane while the Punisher's doing something else?
I think I'd like Falstad to stay in most cases. They didn't have Sanct, not a whole lot of mana on Falstad, and perhaps that was part of it. He's like, well, I can just do auto attacks. Yet, they still had that talent lead for a little bit. There is a small chance of a kill if he's there. And in fact, well, we saw that it would have gone that way because May dropped real low but didn't die, right? Falstad is there, she's dead. All the lanes were already pushed, so it is under those circumstances probably a bit greedy to split off. But what you see often is that players aren't willing to go deep with these early Punishers. So it's just like it's just like them saying, if we do go that deep, we can get flanked from the mid fort. We only have one way to run. And you just see over and over people prioritize more fort walls over going deep on a keep.
Well, right now we're going deep into a fight with Henning getting the phase shift just in time. Red Robot getting low once again. An arrow out from Hanzo. Zones back the side of Storm Esports as that's a massive play from Hogger, who will set up the kill into the Falstad. Sanctification used a little late from Lauber, and he throws the Eldruin's Might backwards. Has the Holy Ground, and that blocks any more advancement from the side of Granit Gaming. A good turnaround kill into Falstad, the first kill for the side of Granit Gaming, but it's still a big hill to climb, and a lot of pressure needs to go back into this enemy Storm side. Sorry, I was looking at bottom lane. BBJ was pushing up the lane. I thought he was threatened because he's around 50% HP.
Yeah, just a little bit of a trade there, but that was a great side stab from Hager there, getting a 4-man shockwave, 4-man staggering blow as well. Really catching a Storm unawares. The first step of potentially a comeback, Bahamut.
Potential comeback. That is going to be some late game experience. I'm going to look really quickly. That singular kill is worth nearly half the amount of the 4 kills that Storm Esports has. So it is, when we talk about late game scaling and late game experience, that's a good example of it. If Granit Gaming can find another kill, maybe once they get 16 talents here, they could potentially start to put pressure onto Storm Esports. I thought Dayquaza was going to try and Wraithwalk onto the point, and then there would be a contest over it, but no. The camp will go over to the side of Granit Gaming.
Yeah, it looks like just a little bit too close to level 16. What's the estimation for Storm? Oh, they're going to get a shockwave melee on Falstad! A fantastic cleanse and ancestral by BBJ actually makes her survive. That shouldn't have happened. That's survival. That's insane. Oh, Force Wall and Dragon Strike overlaps.
They still get the kill into Leoric and IB Tings. We are going to be seeing Lauber trying to back away. BBJ getting a lot of damage dumped into him. We are going to be seeing actually the piercing arrow for the Hanzo, so more scatter ability, not going to be going into any sort of the single target auto plus your storm bow, but the pressure's back onto Lauber once again. Sanctification on a 66-second cooldown, and now Lauber, I don't think he's going to be... Oh, he actually gets a little bit of cooldown reduction on that death timer. For anyone that doesn't know, the trait, not only you have that explosion, the Archangel form, but you also get 10% off of your cooldown for every enemy hero hit with that explosion. That's an unfortunate kill onto Hanzo. Bit of a trade.
Yeah, nice CPX trade there, getting a 1 for 0. Hanzo... I mean, it's a new definition.
Right, yeah, that's why it's actually it's pretty good. Phase shift from the Brightwing, great. Earthgrass Totem from BBJ.
It's pretty fast how Storm Esports makes that decision. You lose 2, then you lose another, but you send 2 to invade enemy camp. Pretty unexpected, so I can't really blame Skog Hanzo for trying to solo that camp there. Neat move by Storm, and kind of reverting some of that momentum. Very equal levels now, and they even get the skeletons because of this as well.
Yeah, it is going to be the objective phase over to the side of Storm Esports. We have Hanzo back into the mix, and this is the most well-defended lane for the side of Granite Gaming as they still have their fort. Hog are going to get some bouncing around on the bottom lane, and this camp, I feel like it's a very late time to the side of Granite Gaming.
Yeah, it's pretty late. They're going to not be able to defend the fort either way. Oh, that's risky. May has been getting abused by Entombs over and over. Nice Blizzard though. Right wing comes in. They blow up Tyrael before the Ancestral procs. That was like 0.2 seconds into the Ancestral. Was not close at all. Beautiful Dragon Strike. That's the most damage I've ever seen it do. Almost. At least today. Really, really sick Dragon Strike there over the ice wall. CPX going in hard. He's getting kills on Brightwing. He kept chasing. A really nice kill there by him.
Oh, I'm watching the Skog.
Skog! Ivy Tings and Skog. Who's gonna win it?
Just don't line up against the... There you go! False. I don't have the best positioning in the world. I will admit it right there, but I was watching CPX line up perfectly for that scatter arrow. I was like, oh no, CPX, bud. That's not where you want to stand.
Well, maybe he was trying to eat the initial scatter.
That is possible. That is actually... Wait, no. Because he was on the far side of it. So he was... anyways, this is CPX
piercing, so you just take 7 shots anyway, or 5 shots. But a nice job by Granit surviving thus far. They're 3 keeps against 6 forts. Still have a chance. It's 4-4. Right wing pops in immediately. Let's see what they're going to do here. They're actually going to try to go for Leoric.
That was actually a really good dive from Lauber. I was looking to see if he was going to use Sanctification, but he didn't, I guess, need to do so. We actually do have the Ancestor Healing off of cooldown, because when it was popped earlier, when it was attempted earlier and Lauber did die, it went on a 10-second cooldown, so it's already back. And I just had my own question answered, because I actually didn't know this. I wasn't sure if Holy Ground actually creates like terrain that Hogger bounces off of. And it's
he can go through.
I just saw him go through it, and I was like, okay, all right. You know, walls in Heroes of the Storm are a relative concept.
Yeah. Nazebo Zombie Wall being maybe the weirdest of them all.
Oh man, yeah. Because Hogger can hog wild through the Entomb. For anyone that doesn't know, that's the reference we're making. He can also hog wild through a force wall of Tassadar, but Diablo can shadow charge into it. So that one always makes me interesting.
What about Diablo being able to shadow charge someone in a tomb, but not stunning them against the tomb, but just pushing him through?
It's just it's like, what? Are you even entombed? Are you even buried alive? What is this?
Diablo can just push him through the wall, and they're fine. Really, they just walk away. I don't think it is intended like that, though. Oh, nice banner there. Did you see that Fallen Bruiser banner?
I didn't. No. Oh,
maybe we have to zoom in.
Hey, can we get a zoom in? Oh no! Oh wait, there it is. Yeah, there you go.
No zoom in apparently. Probably disabled, to be honest, because it's usually annoying if you accidentally touch the mouse wheel. I would imagine it's disabled. So we're at level 20. Let's look at the level 20 talents, Bahamut.
20s are up for both sides. You get that Holy Arena for the Tyrael, which is also going to increase the damage of allies and the duration of the Sanctification. But the biggest thing for the side of Storm Esports is that, as you call it, the range mosh, the wind tunnel. Falstad needs to make the big plays to line up the enemies against those corridors, those walls, those pockets, and then that is when you dump in the damage with Vala, because she has that Farflight Quiver for the increased range, but you also have even more range at Max Hatred.
Nice. A lot of extra range coming in. Up to 8.2 range and a bit once she's fully stacked, which makes her so threatening into Hoggers. Got the Manticore as well. He's not going to be able to live on the front line. Brightwing actually doing some off-soak. Skok is going to start spamming Dragon Strikes. He's got the CDR. Not sure it's 100% the right call here. This was like utterly a poke. He may not have it back on time. 30-second cooldown as of right now. And there's that range mosh pit, the wind tunnel. They're going to go in with the Buried Alive on Hanzo. He's getting attacked. Nothing he can do about that. Found himself in the wrong spot. Great peel there from May, saving the rest. But I'm not sure there's enough bandwidth for Granit left to get any return kills.
You're going to see Red Robot flash freeze at the end of this damage right here, because that is what he took at level 20, so it's kind of like the Joanna Indestructible at level 20. So nice kind of delay from the May to try and buy some time, but you can already see Leoric's back on the objective. You already have Storm Esports advancing through the top lane to try and open up this map and potentially take Infernal Shrines in a pretty quick way. 19 minutes, it's a decent amount of time, but not the fastest Heroes of Storm map in CCL, but definitely Storm Esports looking dominant today. And I have to say, Lauber's Tyrael play, it is something that I see it and I want more. Like, I want to see more Lauber Tyrael because it's been very enjoyable. His positioning, his just Aldruin's might, his God, this body blocking setup. That right there, the body blocking setup into the Entomb, that's just so well played. So GG's will go over to the side of Storm Esports. Skoog is going to be forced back into the Hall of Storm. Lauber just eats the entire Dragon Strike, and that is going to be core falling, map number 1 to our blue team. An amazing map, to say the least. Some good moments that actually Granit Gaming did have on that map. They did show some signs of life. It wasn't like it was just Storm Esports from beginning to end. There were a couple moments where Granit were able to kind of start to open up the Storm Esports side of the map, but unfortunately it was just, there was an answer back for a lot of the things that were posed to the side of Storm Esports. Now, Justin, we've got you back with us. I have to get your thoughts on what unfolded on Infernal Shrines.
So the early game was fairly controlled by the side of Storm Esports. Even though Granit Gaming got the first objective, Storm Esports got 2 picks, which kind of completely nullified that. That was really huge to stop any kind of potential snowball coming out from the side of Granit Gaming, because it was a frozen Punisher first, which, as the first Punisher, it's by far the strongest. You can oftentimes get an entire fort with it. But in this case, since they do manage to get that pick on the side of Storm Esports, they completely negate any kind of hard siege with the objective. So Storm Esports understanding even from the start of the game kind of what their win conditions are and how they can lose the game, and playing around that very well. I like seeing Storm Esports with a comp like this in general, playing a death ball. This seems to be kind of the style of composition that fits them best. They really perform best when they're all somewhat self-reliant, but also just able to play together and kind of inadvertently be on the same page by just all playing really aggressively. And I was a little bit worried about them being able to play on the Shrine fights because of how much just Shrine clear was on the side of Granit Gaming. But what they did was really smart, since they have this really sustainy composition that can just sort of slowly chip away at you. What they did is they really just pushed past the objective, or you would see it like on the bottom objective, bottom Shrine, they're super far forward on the Shrine, just posturing very aggressively to not even allow Granit Gaming to really get in range to get that Shrine clear. So while they did have the tools to do it, they felt too threatened by just the constant attack coming out from Storm Esports. They kind of always kept Granit Gaming on the back foot on Shrines. And that was most displayed on the top Shrine, where you have Granit Gaming really in a difficult place to get onto the Shrine to actually use their Shrine clear. The only one who can really safely do it is Tychus with the Odin. What we see is the second that Hanzo steps up to try to get any Shrine clear at all, and he is the Q build, so his clear is quite good on the Shrine. But the second he steps up, we have CPX come in with the wind tunnel, the 2-man wind tunnel into the Shrine. And the team is very split there, because if you want to go onto that top Shrine in particular, you're really forced to just stand and commit to a fight. And so the team is pretty split there. They take advantage of that on the side of Storm Esports with CPX, with the Falstad Gust, into the Buried Alive. And that just split the fight up. It wins the fight. They get the 3-for-0 just with a really clean engage. And that was just them playing their comp basically perfectly, knowing that the second Granite Gaming steps up just a little bit too far as they're getting slowly pushed away from the shrine, unable to get in range. The second they get a little greedy to try to get those shrine clears, immediate engage from Falstad. And it was a pretty back and forth through the mid game. Granite Gaming was making a bit of a comeback in kills at level 20. Both teams were 7-7. So Granite Gaming was making a comeback in kills, but they were still behind 3 forts and structures. They didn't have a single structure of their own, whereas Storm had taken every single fort by that point. And really well played by the side of Storm Esports. There were some good teamfight moments for Granite, but they're going to have to clean up their macro a bit if they want to win this series against Storm Esports. And Dequaza in particular would be my MVP for this game. His Entomb is really their only source of engage for Storm, and I feel like we saw more Entombs this game than I've sometimes seen an entire series where Lyric is picked each game. Almost on cooldown, he was just entombing the Mei over and over and over again, forcing cooldowns, and then in the late game, once he gets the Buried Alive, hitting 2-man, 3-man Entombs that just really win the game for them. And relying on Entomb as a sole source of engage, you have to really trust your Lyric player, and Dequaza really performed today on the pick.
I think you nailed that perfectly, Justing, and that's actually a very good point as well. We didn't really talk about that during the broadcast, or at least during the match, as we're looking at some highlights right here. It's just those Entombs were perfectly placed every single time, and it almost does seem like it was off of cooldown how quickly he was able to get those Entombs out. So very good play from the side of Storm Esports in map number 1 as we're getting ready for our second map here. And it's just Storm Esports, they're looking great today, but I think Granite Gaming do have opportunities to rally, as they showed really good signs of life in that map. There were some great shockwaves from Hogger, as we saw in some of those highlights, where he was able to pick off the Tyrael with actually like just that skill shot heroic snipe per se. So really good play from both sides. Excited for our second map here in this first best of 5 of the day, because it is starting to really kind of heat up. And as we've mentioned a couple times, and maybe you're joining us a little bit late, this is the final day of our group stage. We'll be getting into the gauntlet, the playoff ladder in a couple weeks after our holiday break. But let's get into our next map, because we know where we're going to. It's going to be Alterac Pass, chosen by the side of Storm Esports. Got to get your thoughts on this, Grubby.
Yeah, Granite let Storm pick the map. They want first pick in this situation. Just now they went for Tychus Hogger first, which Hogger is supposed to be good on Infernal Shrines, and I think they got some mileage out of it, Tychus as well, so it made sense. They've probably got a plan here as well, what they think is the most important to pick up early. I think we're thinking of Anubarak, thinking of Falstad, maybe Johanna as well. So let's see how they play it. They will get the first 3 picks before the second ban phase, which is also relevant.
I was actually playing in Storm League with my friends this week, and we were playing Alterac Pass, and I was like, I'm gonna take a new Barak, and I'm gonna do the thing. And it was great, because we actually got a great big team fight. We got Boss, and I was like, all right, you all go push with Boss. I'm gonna go get the objective by myself. And the little Beetle boys, they helped out. It's seriously, it's such a cool tactic, and like it's something I learned through CCL. But my experiences aside, Justing, what do you think about the Alterac Pass pick for this next map?
It's pretty brave to pick this map, knowing the power that first pick can have here, especially right now. I think depending on how the meta is, I've been maybe critical of just opting to default to that first pick when you're the winning, when you have the choice to choose between map pick or first pick. But depending on how many characters you think are too strong, kind of dictates whether that's worth it. Right now, I'd say it's very worth it, because Rhaegar's quite strong, and Johanna is essentially a permanent ban from second pick. And on this map, you have Johanna and you have Anubarak. Those are the 2 heroes that should basically be off limits, in my opinion, for either team. But with neither of them being banned here, I'm not expecting the first pick team to be banning it. So Granite Gaming is going to get a very powerful pick here. We'll see if Storm Esports is willing to trade the Johanna and the Anubarak. That's going to be kind of their decision making right here. Is either one of those so strong that we're willing to give the weaker of the 2 in exchange to trade? I would be extremely surprised if they ban either of them. So most likely we'll see a trade here on Johanna and Anubarak. And Anubarak on this map is so much stronger than on other maps, just for the shrine, the control of the objective, being able to cap that by yourself. So I'm very much expecting an Anubarak pick from Storm Esports. Potentially, oh, there's the Junkrat coming out. So They've got just really good objective control right now. Junkrat's one of the easiest to stall out the objective if you do cap it. Once you cap it, it's nearly impossible to get it back for the defending team. So Anubarak on this map just really, really strong, but they do have Johanna, which has been just a creature since the patch. She's so powerful, and they also end up getting the Rhaegar and the Blaze. So both teams getting extremely strong picks here with their first picks.
I was thinking maybe Granit will go for Stukov and Greymane in that second and third pick. Stukov kind of counters Greymane. Greymane kind of counters Anubarak. He's good on this map. And then you've got some side push. You've got the Stukov Overlord. On ladder, Rhaegar is still the highest win rate by a jump of 5% over the next highest win rate, which is Johanna. Then you get other OP heroes like Probius and stuff, and Artanis. So I guess take Storm League for what you will. But it's going to be Rhaegar and Blaze. Obviously, excellent offlane. And Rhaegar, higher win rate than Stukov. But I still wonder, is Rhaegar really better in competitive than Stukov? I don't know if you guys are convinced yet.
Well, obviously, that's since Stukov got that 15 HP nerf.
Yeah, true. That was huge.
Seriously, though.
He's in shambles. No, I don't think it's necessarily better, or not all the time. I think it also depends on sort of what your comp is and what you're playing against. The totem, as we heard in the interview, previously is kind of the main focus, and so as a spectator, it's kind of hard to see how much value it's getting. But when you play against it, if you're playing something that relies on the attack speed or the things that it hit negates, it can be very oppressive for the people playing against it. Storm Esports doing some strange shenanigans here with the Zagara Chen. Not entirely sure what they're planning with this, if there is something specific in mind. Zagara on this map is another hero who can spawn any kind of minion to sort of just bait the objective monsters that would defend against it. So they have Zagara and they have Anubarak. They have a pseudo monopoly on spawning little creatures to tank the objective for them. So that seems to be kind of what they're going with, is once they start the objective, there will be almost no help from those passive minions that spawn, because they're going to be just duking it out with their own minions. So interesting strategy here coming out from Storm Esports. And the Genji is quite weird to me, but they do have very squishy backline with Junkrat Zagara.
I can see a world where we actually go into Nidus for Zagara, and she becomes the split pushing monster during the objective phase, and Chen, Anubarak, Junkrat, they can just sit there and control around. And here comes a Stukov as well. It's hard for me to argue against the Storm Esports draft and their play style, even though it is a little on the weird side. What do you think about all this, Justin? Who could potentially take Alterac Pass?
It's pretty impossible to say that you lost the draft if you got a Stukov last pick. Like I was mentioning, I really think Rhaegar and Stukov are about equal in skill level. I don't think one is way higher than the other. I was really expecting the Leoric ban from Granit Gaming in the second rotation to be that Stukov, and that would make a lot more sense to me if they were willing to pick up the Rhaegar, knowing that there's only 2 picks for Storm Esports. We saw their picks. It was the tank in Anubarak and the ranged in Junkrat. So I was expecting a Stukov ban. They banned the Leoric instead, so just a lot of respect to Dayquaza from the previous game. I think that might be a bit of an overreaction, though, overall, because getting Stukov on top of what Storm Esports has already drafted is just too much, I feel, to give away in the draft. And I think it's going to be pretty tough to get much value on Genji, especially into things like Chen, which you don't really play against much, but if you're ever anywhere near Chen by yourself, he will absolutely destroy Genji in a 1v1. He also has the spell power reduction on 4 if he chooses to go with that. And at 13, when he gets the AoE shields, it's going to protect against a lot of the spread damage coming out from Granit Gaming. They don't have any really serious heavy hitter like the Greymane that Grubby had mentioned. I think having something like that would have helped a lot to be able to get through what Storm Esports has. They're going to have those passive shields from the Chen at 13, and no one on the side of Granit Gaming really does any serious burst damage. They have Sylvanas, which is fairly slow. Genji damage is fairly slow overall, and outside of his ultimate. Blaze damage super slow, Rhaegar damage slow. Johanna is, I guess, the X factor in all this. Overall, I prefer Storm Esports comp, but if Johanna can be the creature that we know her to be, maybe Johanna can carry this game for Granit.
Well, we'll see if that's going to be the case, Justin. Thank you, as always, for your thoughts and analysis as we are here into Alterac Pass. And on the side of Stormpike Vandar, we've got Storm Esports. We've got BBJ on the Stukov, CPX on the Junkrat, Dayquaza on the Chen, Ivy Tings on the Zagara, and Lauber on the Anubarak. Over on the right-hand side, Granit Gaming, Drekthar's army. We've got Skoog on the Genji, Red Robot on the Joanna, Henning on the Rhaegar, Sylvanas to be played by Carbon, and Swamp Gata on the Blaze. What are you thinking about this entire draft here, Grubby? Because I feel like it's a Storm Esports win, even though we got a little oddity in this Zagara per se.
Yeah, it's weird for you to say that. It sounds weird for me to hear you say that you can't argue against the draft when Zagara and Chen are in it.
It's me personally. I mean, I'm a Barrel Boy. If you're a fan, if anyone knows McIntyre's old team, the Barrel Boys, I love Chen. Like I absolutely have a soft spot for Chen. I love Wandering Keg. I think it's a really, really good heroic. Storm Earth and Fire is great for mitigating all the damage over time from stagger, but you can get some really good Wandering Keg manipulation and playstyle. But sorry, Grubby, what do you think about all this?
Yeah, I think it's important when you go for special picks that it works together cohesively. That's more important than meta pick only. I think that's what a lot of people sometimes don't get in Storm League, where like you can even sometimes justify a Murky, a Chen, a Nova, where you're like, yeah, I can see how that works with our draft, but not like not 5 special picks and not in the wrong situation. So the question is, does it work here? And I think it does. I think there's enough meta picks for Storm's draft to look very good. And Chen, I think, will be hard focusing Rhaegar to roll him into the team.
And Justin made a really good point about the Chen with the Withering Flame for that spell power reduction. It's a 60% reduction, and that's the expectation, at least from me, from this Chen to pick up, so he can Withering Flame, and that also that affects Carbon, that affects Red Robot with shield glare values and stuff like that. So it's some really cool tech and choices that we're seeing from the side of Storm Esports. We'll have to just see how it's employed by them and how it actually works out, as we do have a little bit of an experience advantage to the side of Granit Gaming, but it mostly should be through just this wave right here through mid, a little bit through bottom. Good concussion mine from Junkrat actually splits the Null Camp over the wall, and that allows the fort to clear this a little bit faster, not losing too much in this mid lane fort front gate.
Yeah. Still, though, Granit Gaming is doing good damage. Oh, cursed.
Master cursed.
I didn't know Joanna gets Falling Sword at level 5. Pretty sick.
No, I think it's that might be. Oh, that's weird. Yeah, no, it's only showing Eternal Retaliation. This might be some sort of half level
exploiter,
something like that.
Ban Johanna from the tournament. Red Robot cheating, using concussive as a jump pad. Let's see, Chen, Genji in the top lane. They're doing a little bit of trades. We do have that Withering Flame you talked about. Bonus, reduction on healing and damage of spell sources on the opponent. It was a nice amount of damage into the towers. Like, that's what Granit got. But at what cost? We're going to see that one more time. You have them pushing in here. Where did it go wrong? Red Robot. Okay, there's concussive. He didn't react. Did he have Unstoppable available? Maybe. He just used it. I want to say he probably didn't have it. And it's hard to see sometimes with all the minions. So it was really sneaky by CPX. CPX doing great.
I have to be honest, I was literally just watching CPX because I was like, okay, where's the concussion mine? When does it go out? And it was almost like a frame perfect. Like the moment the concussion mine activates, it hits the ground, the trigger goes out, and CPX gets the Joanna pulled over the wall. And once again, doing the same thing with the Null Camp as I mentioned beforehand. This is a really good split. You are having the Nulls attack multiple different objects, but you're also not having them reduce the armor of a singular object very, very quickly, or structure, if you will. So I like the displacement value from this Junkrat. And the question I pose, as we see Red Robot rotating into top lane to try and get a pick onto Dayquaza, which is not going to work out, is why we're getting a pause. No, I'm just kidding.
Apparently we're getting they may have a Discord issue. I'm actually so sad. I didn't hear anything you just said in the last 30 seconds.
Really?
Like it sounded like. I'm going to try to do my best rendition of it.
Oh, please.
Pause.
Beautiful.
Sounded a little bit like that.
Okay. Do you know who the actor Michael Winslow is?
No, but I'll look him up.
You know what? You could do what he does. For anyone that doesn't know, Michael Winslow is the guy that does a lot of noises, and he can do them just with his mouth. So if you've ever seen Spaceballs, there's that one very, very funny part with him where he does all of the mechanical noises for a computer, or I guess the CPU noises. Anyways, we're back in the game. We can stop talking about Michael Winslow and his amazing.
I was just going to watch him. Can we put it up on stream too?
He was also in Police Academy. He's got a couple funny parts in Police Academy.
Oh, that's a good movie.
BBJ is getting dove in mid lane as we are back into this game right now, and it seems like he is okay for now.
Yeah, I think you sound.
Do I sound better to you?
Yeah, a little bit. Not fantastic, but a little bit better. There's going to be some non-sequiturs. I won't always be able to follow up on what you said, but I'll wait for my turn to talk, and you can talk. So 1 versus 0 in takedowns. Storm Esports against Granit. You've got Red Robot kind of doing that off lane here. We saw plenty of Johanna actual off lane in the last week, but now he is, of course, the main tank. You have Anubarak trying to take Lauber there, trying to take the objective by himself, as Anoobs have been doing.
Lauber gets the burrow charge out of this engagement. He's not going to be threatened by any means, as we do have the Null camp in mid lane. Skoog jumps in, tries to use the tries to use the deflect for any sort of value and can't find any. We don't have our first objective even channeled by either side. It's still 30 seconds available for both teams as 10 talent here is looming. And as we take stock of what we could potentially see, I don't expect a bloodlust, but I mean, I wouldn't count it out as IB Things gets dove in bottom lane. That'll be a first kill for Granit Gaming.
Very nice for them. Gets them level 10 as well. X-Strike coming out, Falling Sword, Mind Control. We're going to see Combustion and Bloodlust, of course. So smart together. You can be faster thanks to Bloodlust so that you have a very scary Bulldozer Combustion coming at you. No, misplay, Ancestral Healing, and Bunker. Oh, drat.
Accidentally hit Control 1 instead of Control 2. Unfortunate. But a Falling Sword will be picked up by the Johanna, and no Nidus Network for the Zagara. But the exciting thing for me, and I know McIntyre is out there cheering, it's going to be a Wandering Keg Chen.
All right, nice. Let's see how he's going to be able to use that. I would imagine him to look at Rhaegar in particular, to try and Wandering Keg him if he can get in Q range. He's got Q cooldown. Look at Dequaza. Specifically look at Dequaza, the Chen. What's he gonna do? In the meantime, Lauber's getting attacked. That's a pretty nice Devouring Maul. Mind Control on Chen. He's still got Cake. He could just use it to get away if he so chooses. But he knows he doesn't really want to engage because Lauber is too low to continue this fight.
I'm so surprised at the hold from Dequaza in a positive sense. Like, if I was the Chen player, I would have been like, Lauber, I'm saving you! And I would have kegged up and pushed people around. But yeah. Lauber was giga fine. He was omega healthy.
I thought when Lauber says he's giga fine, he's not. He was like giga screwed, actually, there, because he was totally fine.
Oh no, I accidentally did it right there. Whoopsie.
Yeah, he was giga fine.
He was giga fine around the objective per se, but that is a nice kill for Granit Gaming, though. That is a good positive during this objective phase. You don't have that Anubarak to poke and peel while you are trying to clear these waves. And oh wow, there's not a lot of clear into bottom lane. That's a really good call from CPX and BBJ. They recognize the rotation from mid. They recognize how much time it's going to take the enemy team to rotate down. Thank you, Observer, for catching the 1v1 in top lane as Chen does take down the Zagara. BBJ somehow on the wrong side of this engagement is going to go down. So a bit of a trade. I thought maybe Mind Control pulled him, but that's on a full cooldown, so might have just been a condemn and just a slow in general. And it's going to be a trade in kills, but kills in general will be in favor for the side of Granit Gaming. The map opened up quite heavily to the side of Storm Esports.
Yeah, 2 gates, half a fort, and a full fort is a great result for Storm. But level-wise, I'm impressed with Granit. They've done a lot better than in the first game. Skorkon Genji has looked like he's often in the right place to get those skills. And his accuracy with his abilities has been good. Very important, because he's got that level 4 strike at the heart. Only when you're hit by the end of Swift Strike will you take an additional 223 damage after 1 second. Genji, such a skillful hero, and he's actually finally fun to watch and observe. I found him during the heyday of HGC. It was a bit too common. A lot of people could do what he did. But now he's kind of underpowered, which makes him ideal to watch, because now you know the only way you're going to make him useful is if you play him really, really well. Not overtuned like back then.
Lauber is kind of having a 1v1 with Swamp God on the bottom lane while a boss is going to be grabbed, but since this is... I wonder if they kind of know on the side of Storm Esports that they're grabbing a boss, because look at this massive investment through mid lane. Like, this is actually... I don't know if I really am cool with this trade, because boss can be cleared in bottom lane. Bottom lane, maybe it gets some damage under the keep front gate. You cleared in lane as it's rotating around. Lobber checks to see if they're on boss, and he might have seen something, but they continue to siege on the side of Storm Esports through mid lane. The Null Camp still having a couple members as Genji tries to dive and chase Lobber, and it's going to be mitigated or slowed down by a Cocoon. That's a 70-second cooldown for the Anubarak.
Falling Sword is still available. If they lay chase, they can stop mounts, they can stop backs. I love what Granit is doing here. It's a little bit risky, in particular Skunk, but by actually doing this mount, they're buying time for the boss. They then have options to go for the objective, to sidestep the boss, and actually surprisingly defend it against those that are trying to take it down. Or they can go for top. Maximum displacement differential for Granit and go get that top boss. And it looks like they're going for the third option. There was a fourth, slowly take Hogger Camp and then just march out of the gate, meet in the open in honorable Sudoku combat. But it doesn't look like they'll do that. Granit Gaming going for the third option, taking the boss. 1% chance that Chen solo steals this. Typically, this is in Storm League where your ally says he was scouting and then he dies 1v5.
Oh. Okay. I was waiting for it. Do you want to jump into some Granit Gaming comms? Seems like Discord's leveled out.
Yeah, let's do it.
Into Granit we go.
Okay, they see me.
Okay.
Can still try. Just hit a noob.
Either.
Gotta clear mid after.
Did we noob him? It's gonna be kind of impossible.
It's hard into Blaze, yeah.
I mean, just
do
do
waves, I
clear
guess.
easy.
Yeah.
Clear easy.
On my way to clear mid.
Carbot.
Yeah.
If
We only
Sean
look to
goes
kill
up
them
too
this game.
far and we can find something, then
They're pressuring.
okay, let's come back.
Okay. Be there in a second.
Oh, we can even
Yeah, I
kill
mean,
Shen
there's
if
a
we-
boss pushing right now.
Did we
I'm
push
running
out
for
mid a
mid
bit?
with
They have 16 credits.
Yeah.
If we can hit them when they spawn them.
Need to heal.
Yeah.
We need to kill those Zag creeps.
Can
Yeah,
we
I'm buying.
maybe look... I want to flank. Can we look to
We're
reach back line
chunked, we're
somehow?
super chunked.
Okay.
I can't.
We're
Get out,
taking
get
wreck
out,
by
get,
Stukov.
yeah, get out and get Canton. Yeah, we don't want to play like this. We always want to flank and
Yeah.
like when they walk up. I think we should be able to defend it fine. And if they push, we'll kill them.
I mean, we definitely can kill them.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting kind of breakdown of what we're expecting to see from the side of Granit Gaming. And Grubby, what are your thoughts on just like, we don't want to play like this, we always want to flank, is what I was hearing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's correct. Junkrat Sagara will poke you out, and yet they did it because, well, Genji went back for 2 10% Hoggers and one wave with a Reaver minion. And it is true, it would have hurt the keep, but I feel like it's too safe to defend that. And because he went there, the rest of the 4 felt they should maintain a presence, and that's why they, quote-unquote, played like that. Big engage onto Anubarak! Mind control doesn't hit Anubarak because he's already dead! So they get a double kill!
Holy.
Granit Gaming, great job! That's how they want to play. Quick and merciless, not dancing on the perimeter.
Dance doesn't seem like it's over just yet, because we have a dive onto Dayquaza. Keg is up and available. You know, we were singing the praises of Dayquaza in the last map where we were like, oh my god, Entomb almost off of cooldown, perfectly used. I don't think I've seen a Wandering Keg at all.
Yeah.
Either, and like, it's not the longest
I'm wondering
cooldown.
where
It's
the
50
Keg
seconds.
is.
Yeah, like it's... Did you leave it at the store? Like, does someone need to go get their truck and bring it over? Like, what's happening?
Yeah. No, but do you get it? Wondering?
Just wondering, yeah. Wondering where the
Okay.
keg is.
Yeah. I guess you already got it, and now I just made it worse. Oh god, I was
I love it,
hoping there
Grubby.
was a
I love
redemption
it.
arc there, but I just made it worse. So sorry. Joanna comes in on the
There it
whole
is.
There's the keg. There's the devouring maul. But Joanna kills Sagara, and Rhaegar stands on the point and steals it. Henning is now in a terrible spot. He's self-ancestrals. It procs. That didn't seem like a lot of healing. So maybe big damage came in at the same time, but he survives. Granit Gaming suddenly just rocking it. Is there still a Black Arrow? Sylvanas, let's see. Black Arrow in 3 seconds. So this keep is guaranteed. I think they should go for a second keep with Black Arrow center.
Seems like they've got the wave available for mid. My only kind of thought is I'm trying to think of what could have reduced that. I think it's the Withering Flame level 4. I think that's the only thing that could have actually reduced. Yeah, because it's spell 60%. So 60% of that ancestral was mitigated.
Does spell power show up in the UI over the health bar? I don't think it does.
Like if
you know how like a minus amplified heal, like reduce healing that shows up.
Yeah.
Armor shows up. Reduce spell power does not show up. They just have like this haze of purple over their head, right?
I think so, yeah, because it's when spell armor is reduced, it's that purple,
right?
Like mage staff on the side. So yeah, I don't think we see spell power reduction.
That was it then. That was it,
Yeah,
because
it
he
had
got
to
like
have
a mini ancestral that was probably about 40% of what it should have been, and there was nothing on the UI. So Withering Flame, pretty cool counter into Rhaegar.
It is a bit of a counter, but that fight was a counter into the side of Storm Esports. It's 2 to 8 in kills, in Granite Gaming, they may be doing what a lot of people were kind of not really expecting, or maybe this was expected from Granite Gaming. You know, they are able to rally after that first map, and Storm Esports, wonky, interesting draft per se, is going to struggle a little bit here, but it's not over just yet. It still is a boss through bottom lane going to core. Still have null camps through mid, and a split Genji that's trying to back away. Low blow. Riptire should confirm the kill.
X marks the spot.
X marks the Genji, and he will fall. There's a Wandering Keg that's Henning split up against the wall, but the Falling Sword comes through. We still get a little bit of a bop from the Keg as the Lurking Arm will be out. The Bunker from Blaze will be on the left-hand side as the Devouring Maw will not connect. Meanwhile, the boss is starting to deal damage to the core of Storm Esports. As we take a look at this, it is going to be chunking in, and let's see if Stormpike Vandar can get a big ol' spin, and that will be a spin to win. But we go back over to the objective phase where the fight does continue.
So that boss was just a deny, because it doesn't do anything.
Exactly.
4 versus 5 now into 1 heroic left for Storm. Granit still has 2 to 3. Either way, it looks really, really hard. Without Genji, I don't think they've got the kill and finishing power. Not sure why they're doing this, actually. I don't think it's a good idea, but let's see how it pans out. They got the mind control on Chen. He's got Wandering Keg available again.
He goes for the Wandering Keg. Here comes the Falling Sword. It does mitigate the push potential, but it doesn't mitigate the damage, as we did see a little bit of that coming through. Farseer's Blessing for the Rhaegar. You get that that second proc of Ancestor Healing, but it also has a splash to nearby friendly or to nearby allies, as this objective still continues to tick in favor for Storm Esports. I don't think Granite Gaming's won an objective yet, but Storm Esports, while they have won 2, technically are actually losing out when it comes to structures, and that will be the channel the counter channel from Granite Gaming. Genji's looking for an angle. Mind control will not connect, but we do have the Call of the Dark Lady, so only a 15-second cooldown.
I think Granit did a fantastic job actually doing that 4 versus 5. It worked out. They've bought time for Genji. They still are up. Like you said, 2 structures. And with just Ancestral being used and then them finally cancelling the channel, they're in this. They're still in this. They are still ahead. Now, let's view this from Storm Esports' side. Mm-hmm. Not a single time has Henning Rhaegar been out of position to get caked into the team. And even if he were, Falling Sword can help much. How do they come back here? They want a poke battle. So Anubarak, Chen, they need to play safe, kind of passive, defensive. They want to get the poke damage in. And the problem with that kind of passive style, it's not really Lauber's preference for one. And secondly, it doesn't win the map when you do that.
I'm looking at Dequaz on the bottom of our screen. I was waiting to see if we have any sort of Wandering Keg onto the Genji, but he's got too much mobility. And on this Rhaegar, like I'm looking at him as well. Oh wait, hold on. That's a big jet propulsion mind control. Lauber taking a lot of damage. He is gonna try and back away. He does have the Trader King at level 20, which does, I think that gives you a lot of spell armor, doesn't it?
Yeah,
75 armor for 4 seconds. Yeah, 75 for 4 seconds, but either way, that's a Falling Sword coming through. X-Strike from the Genji, Wandering Keg from Chen, and it's going to be the back off of Storm Esports. Concussion Mine over the wall, and I don't think actually Henning got hit by that Concussion Mine.
I'm not sure he did. Another great kill there for Granite Gaming. Genji's actually even pushing in top. Just little extra macro advantages. Whoa! Johanna goes back so far. I think Granite, if they play things right in the next 70 seconds, they should be able to win this game now.
I would absolutely agree with you. 18 seconds for the Wandering Keg as I saw Dayquaza positioned to maybe try and push Swamp Gata around. Channel time will be here to the side of Granite. 24 seconds on the death timer of Anubarak. Things are spiraling for the side of Storm Esports, Grubby.
Yeah, and you know, if Granite, let's see, Anubarak 13, 20. I think Granite can't get greedy here. Finish the objective and then also get boss. Anubarak comes back too quickly. He's alive when 20 seconds is left, and oh, the interrupt! Chen gets the interrupt. The condemn took too long. One auto attack could have done it. Falling Sword needs to hit as many people as possible. So you see Henning kind of coming in there, though he needed nothing. Was wanting for nothing from the Johanna. That's a 20-second cooldown. Potentially quite rough. Red Robot take a bit of chunk damage from those roaches. Does have the quest, maybe thinks. He's 10 out of 12 on Roach quest. He'll then get a third Roach, which will just absolutely shred. It does so much damage.
The big thing to note is going to be the Falling Sword from the John on a 4-second cooldown because Dayquaza has been pretty much mitigated. The 2 times he tried to heal and pull Henning, there was just a Falling Sword to mitigate any sort of that Wandering Kick value. So we'll see what happens here because we got enough to share. We also have that level 20 upgrade for the brew on Chen as we have an interrupt onto the channel from the Earthgrass totem because that level 16 does also give you damage on your totem when it does arrive on the ground. But here comes a mind control. Dayquaza, he's a-okay. Pops a little stagger, pops a little brew, and we continue to have a back and forth around this objective with a null camp pushing into mid in favor for the side of Storm. But Genji, here comes that flank, Grubby.
Yeah, I think at this point it's fine even to lose a keep to push. Like, pro players are really allergic to losing a keep to split pressure by only minions. But sending Sylph again, I think that's a unallowed, illegitimate send away. And you can see they were thinking about it. Now they're going in again. They've decided to go full for Chen with the cover of Falling Sword. The healing, the unstoppable. Maul gets 2. They kind of walked into it. And still, Swamp Grotto gets a huge Chen propulsion. Carbon peppering with damage as well from the backline. They're still going in on Lauber. Lauber falls. Junkrat's now by himself. CPX falls as well. He nearly kills Genji, but Genji very cleverly dodges with the X-Strike. What a fantastic fight here by Granite Gaming. 4 kills. That should be it.
Granite Gaming get a solid pentakill, and what do they go for? What are they gonna do? Are they gonna just sidewall and go core? Is this going to be a keep? You gotta don't do what Chili Mountain did a couple weeks ago. You gotta no. This is easy enough. They've got 30 seconds or so to be able to take down this keep, which is going to just speed up the ease, or at least speed up the availability to take down this core, and it is going to be Stormpike Vandar to fall on map number 2. Granite Gaming not doing the impossible, but putting one up on the board and showing that Storm Esports, they can't just draft anything. They can't go for this Omega delay poke composition that sieges here and there. No, Granite Gaming, they're the ones who are going to be dominant on Alterac Pass. A phenomenal map from them. I really, really like the way that they executed, and it was a little surgical about how they kind of picked apart the side of Storm Esports. The dive and the targeting onto Lauber was phenomenal, but Justin, we got you back, my friend, and I need to hear your thoughts about what happened on Alterac Pass.
So Granite Gaming definitely played that really well, just knowing kind of their win condition. I'd like to quickly point out Johanna's stats. I was not sure whether a Nuvarak or Johanna would be worth trading, or if one was too OP and needs to be banned. This confirmed my suspicions. Johanna is way too broken on this patch. She just needs to be banned from second pick, always. There's no trading it. It's that strong. Look at that. Look at those stats across the board. 75,000 hero damage on your Johanna that has 6k HP and a huge shield and 5% healing on all of her blinds that she hits that has cooldown reduction. Just really insane. But that aside, Granite Gaming played exceptionally well this game. Through the early game, they were getting a lot of picks just through the use of their Genji. Skog played very well this game on the Genji. Like Grubby mentioned during the cast, Genji not nearly as strong as he used to be. So when you see a Genji doing well, it's a lot more of a surprise, because typically the enemy has enough tools so they can kind of ignore him because his damage is quite light outside of his big ultimate and his E, which is very risky to go in for. So well played by Skog to be able to make the Genji work. Especially in that last fight, he really enabled the team to go in. He dives into the backline onto the Junkrat, and that created a lot of chaos. While it didn't necessarily do the damage itself, it just created the splitting of the team of Storm Esports, which allowed Granite Gaming to find that engage. But in the whole early game, Granite Gaming seemed fairly aware of their win condition in the team comps and fighting against each other. Storm Esports composition really wants to focus on just playing around the objectives exclusively, where they have the Zagara and they have the Anubarak to just spawn creatures, and they have Junkrat Zag to just poke out the enemies on the front line. You could tell that when we listened to comms from Granite, they were saying, like, guys, we don't want to fight like this. We need to be flanking, because that was them recognizing in real time what Storm Esports composition was built to do, to just poke out the front line and stall on the objective, just staying there, being at the objective and looking for that. But Granite Gaming took all the fights they could off of the objective. Like, right here, you have Storm Esports getting the objective, but immediately 2 picks come out. Carbon with the mind controls was really on point. Their team to comp doesn't have a ton of engage, so him being accurate with those was extremely important. And they were also, even in the early game, I thought it was a little bit questionable that they were trading bosses for objective, but they made it work, and it made sense because they didn't think that in the early game, or pretty much at any point, they can fight just a poke war over the objective like Storm Esports wants to do, because that would play into Storm Esports comp. So good understanding by Granite Gaming. They really made it work, and it really all came down to this level 20 fight, which Lauber on the Anubarak didn't look great this game. It looked like he really struggled. It is kind of a difficult game to be playing it into the Johanna, the Blaze, all this just tanky frontline. There's really no good target. Sylvanas is almost permanently unstoppable whenever Anubarak's on her screen. And it's hard to even pick who I would give an MVP to for in this game. Granite Gaming, everyone played really, really well. I'd edge a little bit towards Swamp Grata. He did have, I think, the game-winning play in that jet propulsion in that team fight. He had what might have been a 5-man jet propulsion. It was a huge jet propulsion. And not only was it a big jet propulsion, but it was also the timing of it. Lauber was looking to follow up on the 2-man Maw, and the stun came out at the perfect time as the Maw opened, stunning the entire team, completely negating the engage. So Granite Gaming just playing really well this game, and it's exciting to see. We're in for quite the series.
You said it perfectly, Justin, because the series is really starting to heat up between both these teams. We sit 1-1 in score. It's not going to be any sort of quick 3-0s, at least for this first best of 5 of the afternoon. We're going to take a short little break here on HeroesCCL. In that break, I encourage you to check out the prize pool. We're getting close to that 10K mark, so if you'd like to donate towards the HeroesCCL prize pool, it's always very much appreciated. Exclamation point prize pool will get you over to that match arena, and we are at $9,389.69 because of your support. So if you'd like to push that prize pool a little bit further, we always much appreciate it. But as I said, we're going to take a short little break here on HeroesCCL, presented by Wisdom. Welcome back to HeroesCCL, presented by Wisdom. My name's Bahamut, joined by Grubby and Justin, and I was a little jealous of Justin's holiday sweater, so I had to go get one of my own. Maybe we can coerce Grubby to join us as well with the holiday cheer. Woo! It's HeroesCCL. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We got Granite Gaming going up against Storm Esports, and it's 1-1 in our match right now in this best of 5 series, and we already know where we're going to go to for map number 3, so we can jump in and let you know that it's going to be a Cursed Hollow map choice chosen by the side of Granite Gaming, as Storm Esports have opted in for first pick priority. What are your thoughts on all of this, Justin? Like the series in general between these two teams, because it's a little spicy, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I was honestly expecting Storm Esports to kind of just sweep Game 2 after how dominant they looked in Game 1 and really just understanding how to play their composition, but Game 2, they were definitely shaky compared to Granite Gaming. Granite Gaming was the team getting picks. They were the team being more just proactive on the map, taking the bosses whenever the enemy would go for the objectives. So yeah, it's shaping up to be quite the series here. I'm unsure of how much of that hinges on the fact that Red Robot got the Johanna. As we saw the stats, that was just ridiculous. I'm expecting that kind of confirms for Storm Esports going forward that you have to ban that always from second pick. And that kind of just gives a lot of power to the first pick from either team going forward in all these drafts.
So now that means that now Storm knows Johanna must be banned by Granite second. They get to ban something. They know Johanna second, then they know what they're going to get and what they're giving. That is the confidence that they have with this pick now.
I want to get both of your thoughts on this, and actually, Grubby, I'll start with you. The Rhaegar. We've seen 2 Rhaegar games so far. What are your thoughts? Because I feel like he was extremely strong for the side of Granite in that last game with the Wellspring as well as the Ancestor Healing and the Farseer's Blessing.
I think he's very strong. He's always been synergistic with Johanna because Lightning Shield around the Condemned adds extra damage. Always liked it that way. Oh, Johanna.
You gotta.
You gotta, zig. Ah, there we go.
if you want to be my Johanna, you gotta get with my draft. But either way, Justin, any thoughts on either the draft or even just the Rhaegars we've seen so far today?
Yeah, so Rhaegar is looking strong. I'm still not 100% convinced that it's worth giving up for the Stukov, or for trading for the Stukov. Johanna, though, absolutely just a menace in every game we've seen so far, and it's hard to even analyze the rest of the draft in isolation, how it plays out, and not just give a huge advantage to Storm Esports here, having that Johanna first pick. I think it's a pretty huge blunder by Granit banning the Falstad. It really feels like Johanna just needs to be banned from second pick.
What are your thoughts on all this, Grubby, as well? I gotta hear what you're contemplating over there.
Would you go so far as to not take any relevant auto attackers into Johanna, where it's so polarizing?
What?
Yeah,
What?
offlane Johanna. Dequaza really meant to lock that in. Kind of a giveaway as well. Like, if I were to do it, I'd say Lauber picks it. It's a little bit less obvious. But yeah, Johanna... Like, you pick Tychus into Johanna, it's going to be tough to kill Diablo, no? Because of the blind offlane, double blind. Would you, like, just go completely Malthael, Leoric, Li Ming focus if you're into a Johanna? Just say, like, well, at least let's not rely on auto attacks. But that's not even part of what, like, all of what she does, right? Like, she's also got the damage. Sorry. Yeah.
Did they actually just time out on their ban? Is that
I see
the
nothing
BM?
in draft. See nothing in draft chat, so I have no idea.
Wow, the confidence coming out from Granit. So confident they don't even need a second phase ban. But yeah, I definitely would be looking to avoid picking pretty much any auto attackers that have any close range at all into the Johanna. The Tychus might have the option to kind of avoid that just by playing around the Odins, but when Odin is down, you are definitely not outranging the Johanna blind with Tychus. Very short range compared to most of the ranged. So yeah, I'm a little fearful for picking that Tychus this early into the Johanna specifically. We do see the Leoric, like you mentioned. This probably dissuades any auto attack builds from Leoric, I would expect to see more of the Drain build. And this feels almost desperate just to be able to kill the Diablo and Johanna on the side of Storm Esports. Their front line is going to be extremely tanky, and they do end up going with the Vala, so another auto attack based DPS into the Johanna is a bit concerning. I think it's going to be tough to get that damage out when you have those constant blinds at 16 coming out in the 5v5s from the Johanna.
Oh, look at the completion of the draft for Storm, and I like it, but what do you think, Grubby?
Well, tank needs to come out. Which tank can control Diablo? Normally it's Garrosh. Garrosh doesn't love to play into Anduin because Garrosh dies when he doesn't kill. So if he throws Diablo in a hard spot, then he gets yoinked, then Garrosh will die instead to Lunara Hunter, that's for sure. So it can't be Garrosh. Maybe Murmuradin? Oh.
Yeah.
Chen's making a comeback.
I mean, I'm happy about it, but
We-
more
we-
thoughts, Grubby? Or are you just
I
gonna?
can't-
Are,
go ahead.
I
you
can't
just
explain this. I'm going to leave it to our analyst. I'm sure
Okay.
he will 100% get why this happened. Go ahead, Justin.
Yes,
So
please,
they-
Justin.
Yes, of course, the Chen. So Red Robot did play Chen previously in their series, I think last week, and it looked quite good when he played it. They didn't win that game. I believe the Stitches team won the game, but I was almost expecting a Stitches to be the last pick here for Granite Gaming. They do go for that Chen. They kind of function in a somewhat similar way, where you have the Keg kind of just pulling anyone into your team in a similar way to what a Stitches Hook Gorge can do. So I think it's a bit of they're looking to isolate someone on the front line here. It will probably be Diablo. I'm expecting Red Robot to use the Keg a little bit more proactively than Dequaza did in the previous game. Dequaza didn't get the best kegs. Red Robot, when we saw him play it, had a ton of kegs, and it did look really good. So I think that's the main priority here, is to just kind of absorb a lot of damage through that stagger and try to get those picks with the keg, because they don't have a lot of other ways to really engage fights. They have the Entomb, but who are you really focusing if you Entomb someone on the front line? Diablo, Johanna, both extremely tanky, and if you don't get the Johanna, even with the Buried Alive, Johanna can Falling Sword on top of the Entomb to unstoppable whoever is inside of it, kind of allowing them to just escape if they have escape. And yeah, you also have the pull from Anduin to counter the Entomb. So a lot of good things on the side of Storm Esports. I'm expecting their front line to be relatively invincible, and a lot of it is going to come down to how much Granite Gaming can get in the early game with their Vala.
Well, Justin, thank you for the breakdown and analysis, because we are loaded on into Cursed Hollow, and we'll see you after this cursed map. Because on the left-hand side, we have Storm Esports. We have got CPX on the Hanzo, IB Tings on the Lunara, Dequaza to play the Joanna, Lauber on the Diablo, and BBJ on the Anduin. Over on the right-hand side, we're going to be seeing Granit Gaming. Red Robot on the Chen, Skoog on the Tychus, Carbon to play the Vala, Brightwing to be played by Henning, and Swampgrata on the Leoric. I'm still leaning into Storm Esports. I think that the last game definitely was a Granit Gaming victory here, Grubby, where Granit was able to kind of dissect what Storm Esports drafted, and you know, they changed up their playstyle as we heard in the comms. But I think Storm Esports, even though it's a Diablo Joanna sort of pickup, I do like how this should play out in my mind for them with this Hanzo, with the Lunara as well. But what do you think about the drafts, or even what we could see coming out from either of these teams here on Cursed Hollow?
Well, I think I'm just gonna kiss the analysis. Keep it simple, stupid. I'm just gonna.
I thought you wanted to kiss Justin, and I was going to be like, "Can't blame you, dude."
I'm not the only one in this chat. I've seen some thirst in chat. Let us know if it becomes a problem, Justin. But now we gotta keep it simple, stupid. I'm just gonna vote for the Johanna every time. Like until
fair.
that strategy fails. Then I'll reconsider. My cheeks are getting red here. Until that strategy fails, I'm just gonna stick with that. So I'll go with Storm. I think they're gonna do the 2-1. But then again, you seem to like Chen a lot.
I do love
You
Chen.
voted for them last game. Why not this time, man? Courage, my friend.
Okay, you know what? For the first time in a long time, I will change up my vote. I will change up my vote, Grubby, and I will write down Granit Gaming in my notebook. It has been done. It's been scribbled in. All right. But like the Chen actually, you bring up a very good point with the Chen though, because he did actually go into freshest ingredients at level 1. So the expectation, I don't expect Withering Flame at level 4, because there's actually a really cool synergy. I believe it's like Deadly Strike, which is a flying kick talent at level 4 that gives you amplified damage to your flying kick so long as you have Brew. And Freshest Ingredients synergizes with this because of the persisting shields. But I'm completely inaccurate because we have Accumulating Flame, so I'm going to leave it to you, Grubby.
Go with option C there. Thank you.
I'm going to change back to Storm Esports in my notebook. But no, I thought there'd be some cool synergies, but even then, still, Freshest Ingredients, it's a phenomenal level 1 talent for a Chen.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, I don't know, like, Chen looks the same to me, whatever build they play, except that Withering Flame, that really showed. And enough to share, very noticeable as well. Nice polymorph there. Oh, baby J. At least he collected the remains, right?
Yeah, he picked up the pieces of Hanzo. Just like, oh, I got your bow and arrow, I got your quiver. I'll just hang on to this while you respawn.
Yeah, great to put him to rest. Nice for Genji as well. So Hanzo comes back. D is now not available anymore, and Storm gets in position nonetheless. We've got Johanna and Leoric on the off lane. It's funny because when one of them came out, I think Leoric came out later, he was like hard counter to Johanna. And now Johanna is like happily off-laning into Leoric. Times certainly have changed. How's Carbon doing on his quest? 21 stacks of Creed of the Hunter. Oh, well, some things never change, I guess. Leoric kills Johanna in the off-lane.
And it's not like we have any sort of Spectral Leech build at all. We have Oasin Renewal, and you have Paralyzing Rage, which is just more slow in your Skeletal Swing. It's looking pretty good for the Granit Gaming side, as they're just really rushing through a lot of what Storm Esports have on the map. Earlier, Grubby had said, for anyone in chat wondering, Grubby said, D is down. He was referring to the Anduin Leap of Faith. It was on a 60-second cooldown. It is now off of cooldown, so he has that Leap of Faith available if anyone was wondering what trait we were talking about. And Swampgrata going to get dove in top, but he is fine up against Dequaza and the rest.
Yeah, and what Dequaza was doing there, I can't imagine actually Dequaza has played a lot of Johanna offlane. What do you think?
I wonder if it's one of those things where it came out and he saw all the people doing like insane numbers, and he's like, I want to try this in offlane.
Yeah, and you know how people play heroes that they feel are OP? I know how I play them. I'm like, oh yeah, people are constantly owning on this hero. They're like killing fountains with Genji, killing kills, 1v5ing. let me tell you something. Basing it on a fantasy of the best version of has not really made me play those heroes a lot better. It still needs to include good moves, rational play, logical withdrawals, and whatnot. And minutes before disaster, before Johanna died, he was like cracking Iron Skin just for trade damage, pushing into towers, and yeah, I think Dequaza probably learned from that. I think he's going to learn faster than most from it. So, okay, fair enough.
It's like when I play games and, you know, we lose the game and someone's like, I don't get it. I play against Imperius and I get absolutely destroyed. I play it and I don't win the game. It's like, yeah, that's not how it works. You don't just take the hero and win. It's there's a lot more to it. There's mechanical skill, there's rotations, there's knowledge, there's skill shots, there's taking the right talents to do the things. So, anyways, it's just that was actually something I saw when I was playing like quick match warming up for Storm League this past week. Someone was complaining about it, and I was just like,
yeah, it's like Golden Retriever puppy versus German Shepherd. Their pup, our pup. You know what I mean? With an Imperius trying to do let's stun everyone and kill him. Still need some skill. As bosses do get traded a little bit quicker for Storm Esports. They don't have any kills yet, but they're going to be getting the first fort. Dequaza not the best siege damage into the boss. It's also kind of scary for him. He does have Falling Sword, so I suppose he can get away from a gank. Only Polymorph can kind of preordain that, but I don't think there's the burst to kill him in the space of a Polymorph, which lasts 1.5 seconds. Would need to have like an ideal Tychus Vala volley, and it's unlikely. But the bottom boss is still pushing. Top boss is going to take down the fort as well. The tribute, I thought it was going to be a lockdown for Granit, but they end up seeding it, not wanting to lose too much, keep wall damage just yet.
And Leoric doesn't go for the channel, but he will get the interrupt with a Spectral Leech. He's going to get pushed around by Diablo, who does finish out his Black Soulstone. Condemned from Johanna does come through. Swamp Grotto. Actually, I thought he sidestepped the Chastise, but it just manages to catch the bony legs of Leoric, and he's going to still be locked into place. That's Curse over the side of Storm Esports. They just let go of the boss that is in top lane, letting that naturally get cleared out by the keep, and just start sieging as quickly as they can, because, I mean, the map is actually pretty equal between both sides, 5-5 in structures, but Storm Esports, they want to be the ones to get periodic catapult pressure. They want to be able to get that passive experience game, and they want to get rid of those wells in these lanes as well, because for anyone that might have missed it, or if you're seeing giant invulnerable over the wells, in our most recent patch, the developers changed it so that the well falls when the fort falls, much like an ARAM. If you've ever played an ARAM in Heroes of the Storm, the well stays up until your fort goes down. I was going to ask you, Grubby, actually. I was literally leading into, you know, you were saying you played a couple games. What are your thoughts? Because I have a little bit of thoughts on this, but I want to get your side of the story as well.
I think it helps against the cheese, which could have been done in a different way with repositioning, and I think that's important. But they could have done it differently. It has removed the strategical, killing of the fountain as a team from the front. But I'm glad that the cheese isn't happening anymore, because there's not even like you're being attacked call out when it happens. So sometimes you and your team sitting ready for a standard 1-4 laning, and you see that your fountain top is already dead.
Sneaky Genji. Sneaky
Genji. Yeah, it's
Dragon Shot,
it's annoying.
Yeah,
you should be better than that, but it's a team game, and you can't always personally stop it.
Oh, absolutely. And there's sometimes where you don't even think that they're going to do it, and then all of a sudden you see a Genji on your minimap, and you're like, I can't make that rotation quick enough. It's just not going to happen. Yeah. But I can give my thoughts in a second here, because we have a dive, and oh my god, the phase shift just in time onto this Wandering Keg Chen. He's going to be A-okay with enough to share from that level 13, giving some shielding to allies. And actually, when we look at questing talents, we have 14 stacks on that freshest ingredient, still one more to go. When it comes to the wells, I think it's cool, but I also think it makes some maps harder, or, in my opinion, kind of not fun. Warhead Junction kind of comes to mind. Because at Warhead Junction, you get the first objective phase, you wait till 4 minutes, because the nuke scales by minute, chat. You wait till 4 minutes, and at 4 minutes, if you drop the nuke, you take down the enemy side well and a bit of their front gate. But now, Warhead Junction just feels useless.
Slower.
Like it's
The
slow.
nuke feels even
nukes,
worse, yeah.
It really does. And there's a couple
lightning
things that we
breath.
can talk about that, but there's a lightning breath, a falling sword from the Johanna, wandering keg from Chen. He's trying to rapidly get away from the Lunara, who does leaping strike to close the distance. A phase shift from Henning once again to save Red Robot, as Tychus is going to be dove on the top of our screen by Lauber, and now Storm Esports are managing to get that kill into the Tychus. Huge entomb from Leoric, and it mostly creates terrain that doesn't allow Lauber and Johanna to back away, but there wasn't any sort of major threat. The threat is onto Carbon, who almost goes down to the combo, but it's going to be Brightwing Henning to fall as he was trying to save this Hanzo. Really good play from the side of Storm Esports. A slow, methodical double kill.
Yeah, man, I like a lot how Storm did that. First apply mega pressure to Chen, takes the Brightwing shift, and then they knew they can change target because Brightwing doesn't have Z yet. Really, really nice coordination and synergy. So you always want to pick 2 targets against Brightwing, actually, because one will get the Z, then you switch. Oh, first big keg.
Diablo is... that's not your core Diablo. I think he went the wrong way.
What a noob.
It was a really good wandering keg from Chen, actually pushing them around and splitting the Diablo, and that will reset his souls. And the curse, or excuse me, the tribute is up and available. No curse point to either side.
Yeah, and he is weaker now, Diablo. Always a bit of a adjustment period mentally when you have that much less health. He only has 5,000 health now. By comparison, Chen has 4.5, so he's still fine. He's giga fine, in fact. He gets pulled, arrow, everything gets used just to save him. He very nearly died.
Lauber very low right there, as we do have Vala getting another stack, or actually her first stack on the Creed of the Hunter. Oh my god, the entomb at the last second.
Lightning
but Lauber
breath!
goes, no, this is my easy bake oven, and I'm going to be the pilot in this one and be able to burn down a lot of enemy members. As Carbon falls, so will Tychus, so will Leoric. This is a very low Brightwing that tries to get the last second blink heal.
Wow.
But it's a 4 kill to the side of Storm Esports, and I thought for a second they were rushing to go core.
Yeah, you know what? I think you're forgiven for thinking that because they were on a very Eastern trajectory. Maybe they accidentally clicked on the minimap when they tried to click on boss, like all 4 of them. Yeah,
I started writing...
Is that really a boss?
I started writing in my notes, like, I was like, 4 kill at 11 minutes and 30 seconds. And, you know, because I was like, I can't look at the screen and write at the same time. I got too many things on my notebook. So I was like, oh, yeah, they'll just go core. And then I'm like, wait, why are you doubling back? But death timers are a little bit low. And we have another tribute coming up. We do have a replay right now, as we can see that there was that arrow from Hanzo, as you were mentioning, to just save Lauber, and he's so low. There's so much investment onto Lauber, but everything is burned, and he just now is able to kind of back away. Great entomb, but the fight breaks out once again. A wandering keg, as we have Carbon very low. Dequaza trying to get in that back line. He's actually a little bit low on this. Johanna tries to rush out of this engagement, and I'm actually surprised that in this corridor, Grubby, Storm Esports can't find a kill with a Diablo Hanzo?
It was all Chen. Of course, great job too by Brightwing, by Henning, but he needed a little bit of extra buffer. And just the damage coming out from Lunara on everybody, it was all mitigated by Red Robot's shielding, so I do get it now, kind of.
Okay.
The Chen shielding into Lunara, it's always extra good, but yeah, very amazing that you can survive Hanzo's piercing arrows in those corridors. Actually a really cool fight despite no deaths there, no kills.
So we sit 1-1 on our tributes. You need obviously 3 to be able to get one, as you can see on the bottom right of your screen. So this won't yield a curse to either side, but it puts you in that advantage spot to potentially get it on the next one, and 7-3 in kills. This is getting a little tense right now between both sides. Grubby, maybe we jump into some Storm Esports comms?
Yeah, let's do it.
In we go.
Insta pull out someone, and it's fine.
Yeah,
Are they not fighting this? They kind of have to, because we're going to be 20 for the next one.
they're just playing topside.
Yeah, play in the lane.
Yeah, I'm backing up for looking for an arrow. Yeah, look at their backline right now. Go, Stoke.
Yep.
We're getting barreled. Just chill for a second.
Yeah, we're fine. I can slow them here.
Yeah, I'm on back. Look at Bala.
Yeah, go on, Bala. I think we can do boss now. We can do boss. We can get out from the boss.
Don't ever chase,
Yeah.
Go wave.
Oh, Sam? He's trolling?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Ball as well.
Yeah, ball.
Nice.
On it.
Can we do boss now? Can we do
One
boss?
scatter, she dies, she dies, yeah.
Sprywing? Rooted?
We do boss now. Do we end?
No, we don't end.
We boss. We boss tribute play 20, like we have focus for. We're chilling.
I'm going to cap it.
Oi.
Nice Skog.
Man, I gotta say, Grubby, Lobber really wants to get boss.
I think so, yeah. Oh,
Whoa!
no.
Oh, this is Omega greedy.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
I mean, like I said, 1%, right?
We can see it, chat. Everyone at home can't see it. Lobber goes NT, nice try.
I mean, 1% of the time will you get a Chen steal against 5 when there's a Johanna with Falling Sword and Iron Skin. I'm not saying it should ever work. I'm just saying it's probably 1% chance where everyone ain't looking and it just happens a bit too fast. Shouldn't happen. Could have. Was greedy. Guess he felt. Might have been over anyway. Do we agree with that? Was it definitely over if he hadn't done that?
No, because
sure.
you would have had Wandering Keg Chen to defend against this right here. More
Yeah, I think we
displacement
can
against Storm. Yeah, I think you could have defended here at Keep or at Core realistically, but now Hellgate, Lightning Bomb, Leaping Strike, Hellstorm from Diablo. Actually, it's Lightning Breath. He actually went for the Hellgate at level 20, but a scatter
Nice.
into Vala. I do want to give a big shout out to CPX in those comms. While he was shouting.
No, but yeah, true, and go on.
So sorry. But no, as the core will fall, I do have to say, at least in the comms we heard from the side of Storm Esports, some really, really good communication and call out from CPX on that Hanzo. And he said, I'm looking for an arrow, looking for the arrow, and then lands it onto Skoog and was calling out Skoog. And that way, everyone, Lobber, BBJ, they all knew that that's the dive target. The targeting, the shot calling, and the overall playstyle of Storm Esports was dominant here on Cursed Hollow. I regrettably changed my prediction choice, but that doesn't matter. We got Justin back into this call with us right now. And Justin, I'm sure you have a lot to break down for us off of Cursed Hollow.
I'm happy to see that Johanna is not the top damage this game. That's the thing on the stats that I was kind of looking out for. So that's good, but the XP gain kind of huge in the differential between Dequaza and Swamp Karada. There was a lot of good early game plays being made by Granit Gaming in this game. It wasn't just Storm Esports from start to finish. The very early game felt very controlled by the side of Granit Gaming, but that was kind of to be expected. They have the Vala, and there's not a lot of ways to lock down a Vala until level 10. So her being able to get that early advantage through the rest of the team as well, just good on Granit at the start, but it felt like as the game progressed, Storm Esports just started pulling miles ahead into that late game, especially in the team fights. Lauber in particular, definitely my MVP for this game on Diablo. We have seen some inti games from Lauber on Diablo in the past. This wasn't one of them. This was a game where he really played well. He played around his life pool with the Ws very well, throwing out the Ws and kind of baiting enemies into stepping into it. Red Robot with the Chen, it was a weird pick, and it didn't look bad. He did absorb quite a lot. This was something that I actually wanted to highlight. Watch Swamp Grata in this clip. This was something that was really cool. He used the Entomb to block it off, and then he used that to actually just kind of escape. He Wraith walks through it and runs away. I thought that was really cool. But there was a lot of good coordination, too, between Lauber on the Diablo and BBJ with the Light Bomb. It's not the easiest Light Bomb delivery system to have in the Diablo. It's a little bit awkward sometimes because you can kind of like push yourself with it. This was the big defining moment, though, where Storm Esports really pulled ahead, and this was all Lauber just hardly surviving death over and over and over again. He gets so low here, and it finally looks like he's going to die, and he hits the Fire Breath to just turn this fight in combination with Johanna, CC, and all the other just damage output on the side of Storm Esports. This was a really nice turn. This is where it looked like they were considering ending the game here. I'm not sure if they could have. They maybe could have, but Leoric would be respawning soon. He's obviously got the reduced death timer as he's draining in death. But from that moment on, they're able to just snowball the game. Here, we listened to comms, and CPX definitely took his pre-workout today. You could hear in the comms he was really popping off. He started the engage here with the arrow, and then they start getting kills, and he's like, yeah. And Lauber's just like, oh, okay. Like, it was pretty funny to hear. Like, Lauber's just trying to go boss the whole time. It was nice to hear, too, in the comms that sometimes Storm Esports feels like they don't have the most decisive shot calling in comms, but in these comms today, it felt especially like Lauber was kind of taking control of that. He was looking ahead into the future. They were saying, oh, they're going to need to fight this now because we're going to have 20 before the next one. Lauber seemed to have a lot more just good comms in general for shot calling things, whereas normally Storm feels maybe a little bit lost in the comms. It doesn't feel there's a real decisive shot calling being made typically for Storm Esports. So to hear that from Lauber, and also for that to not affect his play negatively in any way, really good to see. So yeah, well played by Lauber and the rest of Storm Esports for sure in that game. Pretty dominant in the second half of the game.
I would absolutely agree with you. It's for me, I'm just like, oh man, it's really a toss up between like Lauber's CPX's MVP for that last game, because CPX had some really good arrows as I cast a curse him right at the end, but Lauber, as you were saying, that delivery of the light bomb and the shadow charges, his angling, finding those walls consistently was really good. But we're heading into another map here, map number 4 between these two teams, and not as many walls here on Sky Temple, Grubby.
Yeah, in terms of Diablo and Hanto, you mean?
Yeah, you know, corridors, tight areas to fight through, that where Diablo and Hanzo really like to explode into the enemy team. So maybe expectations is probably a better way for me to pose this question to you for Sky Temple.
I remember when this map was super popular on the Abathur picks. Chen Abathur was really popular on Sky Temple for a while. We've seen drafts in a previous CCL season where tanks were completely ignored and where you would go double or even triple bruiser and just play macro all the time. Bruisers that are good at escape and shoving lanes. Right now, I think we are still going to see a lot of the usual suspects. Not a lot of the static mages like Kel'Thuzad and Kel'Thas. We're going to see emphasis on, of course, the Johanna ban. Early, by the way. Probably just because you know you're going to have to do it anyway as the second banner. So you might as well do it early to hide your second ban after you see more info from the Oppo.
Wow. Rhaegar Johanna being banned out. We get rid of a Falstead Lucio justing. And we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of this draft. What do you think about it all?
Really good bans. Really good bans from Storm Esports. I like the Johanna first ban, like Grubby mentioned. It allows you to hide your second ban, because it should be somewhat a given at this point that you're going to be banning that from second pick. So banning that first to just get it out of the way and make sure that you're able to be flexible with your second ban. And the Lucio being banned on the side of Granit Gaming to prioritize BBJ. But Stukov is still available, and Granit Gaming up until this point, I believe we've gotten some Baja facts about the Baja stats about how much Granit Gaming has banned Stukov in the past, leading me to believe that they don't really like it or don't play it at all. Yeah. Storm Esports going to call that bluff, not picking the Stukov for themselves, potentially going to opt into, even we could see a Monk here later in the draft from BBJ. That's one of his favorites. BBJ is, in my opinion, just the best offensive support player in the league. He's when you can get him on something aggressive, he really does well on that. He's really experienced on that playstyle on the Monk. And I wouldn't be surprised now, especially with the Diablo picked up, if Granit Gaming doesn't, if they do ban Stukov, it might be almost a waste. So I like the pickup from Storm Esports, getting the Dahaka and Nubarak, having the option to either go for Stukov for the silence to follow up, or a potential 7-sided strike from Monk, which is also pretty good into the Diablo now, being drafted by Granit Gaming. It'll be tough to see if Red Robot can get quite the same amount of success as Lauber had in the previous game on the Diablo.
I want to get your thoughts as well on all this, Grubby, because we have a Blaze Brightwing Diablo, and we're talking a lot about Stukov for the side of Storm, but do you think Storm Esports needs some sort of heavy cleanse to get rid of the Polymorph, the Shadow Charges, the Overpowers, the Jet Propulsions, like all of that stuff that's already here?
Maybe it's like a Deckard Lunara kind of game, or a Stukov Lunara kind of game. Lunara with the cleanse, Deckard with the anti-heal against Brightwing, or Stukov with the big lurking arm, which is always great, even to shut down Diablo's combo. But Lunara seems to fit in really well with that. IB Things did great. 6 last hits on Heroes last game, 0 deaths, top damage. But it is going to be that thing that you guys foreshadowed. The aggressive support from BBJ, love it. It's going to help kill Diablo. Not thinking defensively, not thinking about cleanse, just blow him up, kill him, make sure they can't cast spells.
And Justin brought up the Karazim, and I completely just forgot the fact until I saw it being picked up. You have Cleansing Dash, and you can have multiple dashes as well. So you have multiple cleansing dashes, which is going to be a great way to mitigate all of this dive potential. But speaking of dive, Justin, that's a gray main. Maybe a Li Ming? Lunara.
Yeah, the new Li Ming in Lunara. Since her little small rework with the Q talents, she's almost Li Ming level of burst when she has her Q available. I really like what both teams have done here with their second bans. Storm Esports banning out the Maiev, which would have been really strong to combo with the Blaze, Brightwing, Diablo, just a lot of hard engage kind of just denying that, the ability to put everyone in a cage and have the fire breath there. I really think that's a good ban, especially when Carbon's on the enemy side. And the Tychus ban, ignoring the support, was also smart because, like we mentioned, there was 3 options for BBJ. He could go the Deckard with the Lunara for the cleanse. He could go the Monk, which he did end up choosing, or the Stukov. So good bans on both sides. Greymane, while it is traditionally a counter to a Nubarak, it's a little bit less of a counter when you have Karazim, because in the moments where Greymane's really able to get into melee form on your Nubarak, the block totem from Karazim will be available. So I'm expecting him to go that's kind of a historic combo as well, just having the Nubarak with the Monk to provide him with the physical armor from the Karazim to negate his one weakness while he does have his own spell armor. So Lauber is going to be quite tanky this game on the Nubarak, and as you mentioned earlier, Baha, we've got the 16 talent from Karazim to get the cleansing punches, which should really shut down a lot of the engage on the side of Granite Gaming. They didn't get that Maiev, they didn't get anything that really combos with CC with their last 2 picks. It's just 2 range DPS. And unless Granite Gaming is able to get a really big macro advantage through their range that are a little bit better at clearing camps, it might be a little bit tough for them in this game. Storm Esports is drafting a comp that is basically four pieces of the old Oxygen special on Dragonshire. You have the Dahaka, Anubarak, Monk, and Sylvanas. I'm expecting to see the Mind Control. And Red Robot is going to need a lot of help from Swamp Grotto on the Blaze with the bunkers in order to survive, because the isolation between the Dahaka, the Cocoon, into 7-sided strike with the Mind Control is just a ton of damage, and you have the CPX Hanzo arrow to set it all up. So I'm heavily favoring Storm Esports here in this game on Sky Temple.
Well, thank you so much, Justin, for the breakdown, analysis, and prediction, because we will see you after this Storm Esports Granite Gaming Sky Temple map. We are going to be seeing CPX playing Hanzo, Ivy Tings on the Sylvanas, BBJ on the Karazim, Lauber to play the Anubarak, Dequaza on the Dahaka. Over in the red, we're looking at Granite Gaming, who are looking to continue the series into a game number 5 through Sky Temple, Red Robot on the Diablo, Swamp Grotto on the Blaze, Henning on the Brightwing, Carbon on the Greymane, and Skoog to play the Lunara. As this draft unfolded, I keep seeing better and better potential for the side of Storm Esports. Not only do you have those cleansing dashes, you've also got a lot of disengage tools with Hanzo Agility, Burrow Charge, Haunting Wave, dashes from Karazim, Burrow under the ground, Burrow Charge, Tunneling Claws. There's so many little things. Will of the Forsaken for Sylvanas. So I agree with Justin on this. I think this is a strong Storm Esports win. But Grubby, what are your thoughts for the Sky Temple matchup?
Yeah, I think Storm can play very, very aggressive turbo mode with this. I love Dequata on Dahaka there as well. That really just allows the other forward to go on killing paths. He's got the enhanced agility, which makes him able to double soak better, especially as the game goes on. So, love it. I do think Granite Gaming's draft just looks fantastic. I would always call this as winnable by both teams.
Oh, sure.
Not even favored 60-40 or anything like that. At least with my game understanding, I think both are super possible to win with. Just a really clear path of destruction for Storm. You go in, you stun, hit him with all the spells, 7-sided. For Granite, you need a little bit more coordination. You've got 2 standard damage source assassins, and then Diablo is conditional on enemies being next to walls a little bit. That's the only thing I can see how. I would say Granite's draft slightly harder to execute. Might have felt different though if it was a different Karazim player than BBJ, but for him I don't have concerns. You know, Karazim not the easiest to play. BBJ, we know he can do it, so it's gonna look spectacular.
And at the start of the map, we actually saw Lauber say, Pog, Baha, BBJ, and it took me a second to figure out what he even meant, and I was like, oh, the Karazim skin, right, yes, of course.
Yeah, why is that you?
Well, everyone knows that Blizzard flew me in, and they mocapped my beard for that skin, of course.
It looks so similar, actually.
It actually... I like to make the joke that, you know, they mocapped, I'm the model for Deckard Cain, for Falstad, for this skin of Karazim.
Is there like a name for your hairstyle?
For my hairstyle?
Yeah, like your, what happened to Brightwing? Nubarak with the stun, he did the impale on the Henning. No, I just wondered whether there's like a name, like, for example, yeah.
Sorry, production just came in and just bluntly said the word. I like what Justin said. It's called cool, and I agree with Justin.
You know how like a small beard is a goatee?
Yeah.
And then like a glorious beard like yours with like points at the side could be like a French coiffure or something. I don't know. Like maybe there's a name for it. I thought maybe you'll know.
Oh, I think it's just full beard. Or you know, if I don't bundle it up, it's like a wizard beard
too. I can grow a full beard. It don't look like yours because there's like gaps where hair won't grow, like unfertile land.
You just gotta commit. You just gotta commit to it. That's the thing. That's the biggest thing. You gotta commit to it. Oh, okay. I guess it's the Scandinavian in me or something like that. But IBTings will continue to push into top lane with the help of BBJ, and they also will have the top lane objective, which is going to be, as we've talked about in previous weekends, a little bit of an advantage to set a Storm. While there is a trade into mid, getting this top lane means that you will be able to get the top lane fort with the shots remaining. But here comes Diablo, big burst onto BBJ, Haunting Wave thrown but not triggered. And that does give BBJ a target to dash to. So we will have those top shots from this temple. 5 shots remaining. Will it take down the entirety of the fort, or will Storm Esports have to siege in? They're gonna have to siege in as this fort sits at 2,710 HP, with Diablo putting pressure on to Anubarak, and Carbon rotating up to look for a dive.
It is pretty low. There's no Abathur Mule that requires you to finish it now because it will undo all your hard work, thank God. But it's still nice to get that early because you start generating passive experience and catapults as well. Same story is true for Granit Gaming via the center lane. That fort is sitting at just 260 health. Diablo can hit it twice with an auto attack and get away with it. Or Brightwing can hit it 3 times with an auto attack to take it down. Or 1 auto and a Lunar Flare. Skog, in fact, could go in just with a single Q. But Granit Gaming does not seem to prioritize it heavily. Maybe that would be the missing damage for a potential kill, because they were looking to invade the siege camp.
No invade under the siege camp, or at least no invade will happen realistically under the siege camp to steal that away. Dahaka is proxying or pushing up the wave into top. Unfortunately, there is a red robot in Skoog to dissuade any sort of siege from the minions, and unfortunately it's not going to be a fort to go down from Storm side, but Granite Gaming fortunately will be able to save that fort. On the opposing side of the battleground, the bottom lane, we already see Storm Esports trying to set up to potentially push in, and actually you can see the black arrow from IBTings just expired. It's going to be on a 26-second cooldown right now.
See, Diablo defending against Hanzo in the center, not an easy trade to do against CPX. CPX has got that auto attack talent. This talent always loses me games. Like, I never like going for this. It just makes me move so stupid. And then when you die, you get extra tilted, try to get it back, die again. I don't know if it's worth it, but let's see if CPX can get good value out of it.
It's going to synergize with the Never Outmatch for the cooldown reduction, but let's talk about Dequazo. Oh my god! That huge arrow in the backline, and the scatter! The scatter gets the kill! That is a wonderful scatter, but IBTings is getting low right now. There's going to be a chase, a huge wailing arrow, but it's not going to dissuade the side of Granite Gaming from advancing further and finding the kill into this Sylvanas. CPX does reveal himself with that scatter, but there's no shadow charge available, not for another 2 seconds on Red Robot. But here's the big thing for the side of Granite Gaming. They may have lost the Lunara. They did get a double kill, and this is looking like a boss call for the side of Granite Gaming, with Sylvanas just now respawning. The Haka did just brush talk below all of this, but the priority for the side of Storm Esports is objective, and now CPX scouting out the boss that's about 30% HP.
The Quasar coming in with the flank. Who is he going to be targeting? It doesn't feel safe for him. BBJ in the meantime on the left, buying time, going away safely. In comes Lauber with the tag team. Red Robot is capping the boss. Everyone is low on the side of Storm Esports. How are they still alive? BBJ with the clutch heal there. Oh, Greymane with the Gilnean cocktail. Hanzo goes down as well. I was thinking Storm is lucky to get away with just 1 death there, Bahamut. And it turns out you never know if you're going to be lucky until you connect all the dots looking back.
Well, the dots are still being connected for the side of Granite Gaming. Yeah, Lauber, that's a questionable E. He might have been looking to go the other way and had his cursor on the wrong side of the screen. Either way, that was close. I gotta say, Carbon with the Gilnean cocktail, man, just looking at CPX like, you a little thirsty there, bud? I'll get you hydrated.
Yeah, insane. I wonder what they put in that stuff, because that looked absolutely lethal.
Fire.
Yeah, probably some kind of fire.
Actually,
have you played WoW? Do you actually know? Are there Gilnean cocktails there?
I was just about to ask you the same question.
Okay. No, I didn't get to that point. I was a level 16 troll warrior. Terrible choice, by the way. I wish I picked something else than warrior. But yep, guess it meant that I could stop playing and go back to RTS and MOBA. But no, I didn't play until the Gilnean cocktail part, so I don't actually know what they put in those concoctions. Fairly even on the levels here. Storm Esports is one full fort down, and that's the big story. If Granit Gaming plays it out naturally, they are quite ahead. That's a 4 versus 5 that they're surviving. This feels really good for Granit that they can survive such things, even as they took a bruiser camp, which is now going to pressure the top. What's Storm going to do? Are they going to ignore top and just push bot, hope for an engagement? No, they're sending down. Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing, actually.
You looked into the crystal ball and you were like, that can't be real. And then it's like, oh no, that's actually happening right now. And here comes the dive onto CPX once again. He has no agility, no sidewalls. He does find the corner of one as BBJ does get the dash.
Did you see Henning polymorph to Beetle?
Oh no, just a little misclick. I'm looking at the pickups for BBJ. He did go for that Quicksilver at level 13, which gives you the Karazim and the ally that he dives to or dashes to, gives them 30% bonus movement speed for 3 seconds, which basically, if you're unmounted, gives you mount speed without having to be mounted for 3 seconds. So good disengage potential and just amplifying the maneuverability of Storm Esports. But right now, as we take stock of the map, see a bit of a camp play. I like this. No one besides, or I guess not no one, Blaze is the only one showing in bottom lane. He's like, teehee, I'm pushing too far forward, and that's actually not the case.
Whoa.
My entire team is in the bush. Curse bullet, shadow charge, big old blow up.
I was just about to say how that seemed like such a waste of time and random place to set a trap at.
That's beautiful.
I'm glad I didn't, because that was great, and you could see that coming, no doubt.
I've seen some teams do this from time to time, and I'm a little surprised that Storm kind of took the bait in a sense, or maybe it was just Lauber who was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go check it. They won't be able to burst me." But it's like Greymane deals 35% of your current health pool, and if a Nubrak's full, it's 35% of his entire health. Like,
yeah.
So I think there needs to be a little more caution from the side of Storm as we're watching this game. That's at least what I'm kind of starting to piece together.
It's actually Lunara that did 1,000 damage in let's see, in half a second. That's pretty impressive.
And they nerfed the choking pollen level 7 by like 25%, but it doesn't matter because here comes another kill to the side of Granit Gaming, and Carbon is just racing forward through the minion wave. He has that inner beast active. Yeah, he's got glowing fists right there, but it is going to expire as he can't find anything else to auto attack. Lauber trying to trade in mid lane as Red Robot's getting the channel into bottom lane, and this is going to be. I think this is just a trade in general on objective phases.
Yeah, trading when you're down 4-5 for Storm is kind of fine, and I think the Haka took a few lasers there, so it's not too big of a deal. You look at the structures now, and you see maybe 2 half keep walls broken for Storm. On the other side, no keep walls broken, so small lead for Granit, but definitely nothing insurmountable. Storm feels like they've been taking it. They are 2 kills against 6. About a level down, but it's so winnable still. They just need a big, nice arrow, follow it up into what? Now, here's the thing.
Yeah?
Can Anubrak jump in with a team like this? Essentially, he should be able to. If you cocoon either Diablo or Blaze, then with a nice arrow and jump in, you should be able to. Probably you want to cocoon Blaze, actually, and then focus Diablo with Sylvanas Hanzo, with 7-sided. I just wonder if there's enough reach and damage bandwidth. Oh, Lauber basically walking into people again. Lunara should be dead though. Wow.
That was what they needed on the side of Storm Esports. Cocoon onto Diablo, and what they're doing is they're zoning back Carbon and Heading. Why? Well, if they want to utilize 7-sided strike, there's no one else around to eat those extra strikes. And actually, I'm incorrect because it's on a 35-second cooldown. Missed that it was already used, but it doesn't matter because the fight still does continue. And this is just big fight potential and a turnaround from the side of Granit Gaming. Maybe a little too over-aggressive. Maybe too many heroics used just to kill Lunara.
Yep, I think you're right. I think it feels like that. And a very unfortunate death there for Lauber. He was greedy for more. If Dayquaza is with him and can hit an isolation on Greymane, that might have worked, but there was just this really cool turnaround, and you had Carbon just stepping on the throttle, hitting the cursed bullet, and boom, Anubarak goes down. And I think what Justin said as well, super important. Anubarak can't do that unless Earth Ally Totem is up. We think of some of the comms we've heard from some of the teams where they're even micromanaging as a team, as 5 people, whether Greymane has Inner Beast up or not. We need that kind of comms about Kharazim's Earth Ally Totem as well. Look how much it's doing here against Greymane, that Earth Ally Totem.
That was blocking a lot of fatal damage as the 7-sided strike will be utilized to try and put some poke pressure onto the enemy side. Dayquaza does take a lot of damage, pops his essence. He's going to be overpowered and polymorph. Scatter, that doesn't matter because CPX will go down to the Lunara. She scattered him out in the bush. The bunker down from Blaze. Double objective phase. Camp pushing in through top lane. Boss is up and available. The world is Granit Gaming's oyster.
Wow,
right?
This is unexpected indeed, both before the best of 5 as well as after that first game, that Granit will be looking to most likely equalize here with the 2-2 score. With a nice balanced draft, they're surviving with their heavy front line, they're surviving the tank, the double tank engage, the dive composition here for that Storm Esports has. And just rounding out on something we talked about before, Bahamut, that level 1 talent for Hanzo never finished, nor does it seem quite right to have a faster auto attack speed against so much dive against you where you can't really stand still and do those autos, nor is it bursty enough to follow up on a dive from Kharazim and Uberak, don't you think?
I absolutely agree with you. It got completed, I think, in the last engagement, but obviously it's incomplete again because he did die. Now, the members of Granit, they're not going for objective. No, they got boss. They have an opening to go to core. Lauber gets the poke onto Skoog. Those tornadoes are only going to be impacting Granit Gaming as there's a cocoon onto Lunara. Hanzo did rip an arrow. The core shielding is falling. And ladies and gentlemen, something that I don't think a lot of us were expecting, Granit Gaming will take us to a map number 5 in our first best of 5 of the day. Like, I came into today's matchup and I always try and say, you know, as equal, you know, 50-50, but stats are stats, history is history, and records are, you know, they show what we could expect from these teams. I am blown away by Granit Gaming, how they're playing. I'm gonna be honest, I'm questioning a little bit of some of the choices in the actual engagements in the map that we're seeing from Storm, but I'm sure, Justin, you have all the answers. You know exactly why Granit Gaming are winning here, right?
Yes, I know everything about
Perfect.
this map that just happened. So Granit Gaming coming out super strong. Red Robot in particular played really well this game. He didn't really seem to be threatened by the fact of Storm's 7-sided strike isolation blow up one-shot composition. We did see the Wailing Arrow come out from Ivy Things, which seems kind of like a big mistake with their composition. They had drafted what is almost an iconic composition between those 4 heroes if you have the mind control, and I can't help but think that that played a pretty big part. They're missing a crucial element in their combo to get kills, especially once the game gets late, once you get to level 20. Not having that makes you... not having the short cooldown mind control to set up kills after you use your combo is really rough. Dayquaza got absolutely bullied this game on Dahaka. Some games Dahakas look invincible, not this game. This game, Dayquaza, it felt like he couldn't even get his essence off half the time. He was just dying so fast. It was really good polymorphs coming out from Henning on the right wing in particular. They were playing really well with Red Robot, Henning, and the Greymane, especially together. The curse bullets were good, follow up onto Red Robot. You had the polymorphs, which were really good. One major thing that I've noticed, though, that's been kind of a recurring theme here with Storm Esports is they seem to be the best team at playing deathball style compositions, where everyone is kind of, and this is something I've been somewhat critical of them in the past, is Storm Esports, they're very good at having 5 individual players kind of proactively being on the same page in a sustained composition where you have a death ball where everyone's just kind of doing their own thing. But these high execution combo based compositions look really rough every time Storm Esports attempts to play them. It just seems stylistically like something that they fail at. Here we see that they use all of their cooldowns to get the pick onto Lunara, and this is where they had the chance to come back into the game. But Granit Gaming and Red Robot, they don't care that they're in a 5v4 or a 4v5. They recognize that Storm Esports composition is extremely cooldown dependent and very ultimate based, and they opt in to just take that 4v5 and end up turning it into a 1-for-1. So Storm or Esports really not seeming to understand how their composition plays or their win condition of their comp in team fights. They're very combo based, and that has just seemed to be something that they're not they're just not very good at that. They might be the best team at playing death balls, but when it comes to these high execution combo-based styles, they've just failed almost every time we've seen it. And Granit Gaming taking full advantage of that, being kind of aggressive to try to bait out any kind of cooldowns. Red Robot willing to trade his health bar for a single ultimate on the side of Storm Esports means that Storm Esports is no longer allowed to do what their composition needs to do. They need all their ults to fight. Granit Gaming doesn't, and they kind of just take advantage of that by keeping the aggression on, just almost non-stop aggression through that second half of the game from Granit Gaming. They take the first boss after winning, getting a 2-for-1. They take the second boss and Storm Esports opts to fight. They get the 2-for-0. That kind of led to the beginning of the end for them for the side of Storm Esports. So really well played by Granit Gaming, bringing it back in the series, tying it up 2-2, bringing us to Game 5.
We're getting into a game number 5, but before we do that, we're going to take a short little break. In this break, I encourage you to hit ! prize pool. Where does that take you? It takes you over to the amazing match arena where you can donate towards the HeroesCCL prize pool that the players are vying for. This prize pool is for the players as well, and we're at $9,389.69. We're so close to hitting that 10K, and I hope and I know we can all do that with your support. So thank you all for supporting HeroesCCL. As I said, we're going to take a short little break. When we come back, we're going to find out if Granit Gaming can take down Storm Esports, or will Storm Esports rally and shut down this Granit Gaming crew? We'll find out in a little bit here on HeroesCCL, presented by Wisdom. Good afternoon. Welcome back to HeroesCCL, presented by Wisdom. My name is Bahamut, joined by Grubby and Justing, and after our little break, we are back getting ready for map number 5 in our first best of 5 series of the day, and it's going to be Storm Esports up against Granit Gaming. Things are really, really heating up, and it's so hot, I think we can actually find out exactly where we're going to go to for our map number 5 in this best of 5. And whoo, boy, going to Volskaya Foundry. We're going to go where robots do nothing and team fights last for forever. And I'm very excited about this now. It's going to be a fun map. It's definitely a lot longer of a map, Justing, and we could see some slow play out from the side of Granit, and they might be able to dominate Storm like we've been seeing throughout a couple other maps.
This is also a Probius map, so they don't have Rutso playing today, so I'm not expecting to see that, but Storm Esports was the team that brought it out before to take down Simplicity. We'll probably not see that because I think that's a Rutso special, but this is the best map for it, so either team, if they've been hiding it, this is the moment to bust it out in the Game 5. Not sure exactly if Carbon has any other tricks up his sleeve. He played really well on Greymane in the last game, and he has been getting target bans on Maiev quite a bit. I'll be curious to see whether they continue doing that on the side of Storm Esports, or if we maybe get to see a Carbon Maiev here on Volskaya.
I mean, it was Storm Esports that played Nova on this map at the start of the season, so there is that as well. So we'll see what actually Storm Esports will be grabbing. But Grubby, my friend, what are your thoughts going into this map?
Johanna Ban, of course, is smart. And wondering also if we're going to see CPX on Nova again. They tried it once before with Bribe for the turret camps. Are they bringing it back here on the 11th hour? They are 3-3 in score. If they use Nova, they would truly be winning in fashion, wouldn't they?
Absolutely. I mean, if we're on this train of thought, I mean, I won with Cho'Gall on this map when I did some viewer games this past week. So obviously, it's an OP pick. You'll win the game. I won 2 games out of 2 games with Cho'Gall, so obviously he's the best hero in Heroes of Storm, and someone should pick him this weekend. But it will open up with a Tychus and then a Brightwing Hanzo. Have we seen CPX on something else than Hanzo? I'm literally drawing a blank on the previous drafts. I mean, I could scroll up. I do have them screenshotted. It's like Hanzo every game for CPX, it looks like.
Really fun.
Oh no, he did Junkrat. Junkrat on Alterac. That's what it was. And then I don't have a screenshot of the first
Falstad,
one.
I think, on Shrines.
You're right.
Had the Gust
You're right.
play.
Okay. You're right. Okay.
So we've seen him on nothing but Hanzo, Junkrat, and Falstad. Oh, and there was another 4th pick as well. Oh, no. He did kill for Hanzo twice. 4 different heroes. Such a one trick. But yeah, I guess they don't have to ban Junkrat here, but they could if they think that's something he's going to be going for. It doesn't have as much burst together with Tychus and Diablo. It does offer a lot of control.
That's a target ban onto a BBJ Lucio and a Stitches ban. Very interesting. But I mean, there is the synergy with like a Brightwing Polymorph, Justing.
Yeah, the Stitches on this map, especially since it goes so late, you have just a lot of random opportunities to get picks that can win you the game in the late game. Especially with the robot not being too powerful, it's nice to have that extra, just kind of random win condition of if I hit a hook in the late game, then we can just get picks and end the game. They did leave Carbon the option to go with Maiev. Doesn't look like they're going to take it. They opt for the Falstad. Really good on Volskaya to be able to just split push during the early objectives that are quite weak. We do see a Muradin picked up by Granite Gaming for Red Robot. I really like that a lot. I think Muradin is by far the most underrated tank right now in the meta. I think we could see in weeks to come Muradin priority going up quite a bit as teams have more success with it. But Diablo priority has been very prevalent in the series so far. We do see that picked up fairly early for Storm. Again, they do get a Stukov late pick. Storm feeling like they got pretty much everything they wanted here in the draft. Granite Gaming's first 2 picks, not necessarily the absolute highest priority picks. A lot of this, I think, is just the comfort for Brightwing, for Henning with the Brightwing, and maybe even for the Falstad or the Hanzo as well. It almost feels like Granite Gaming's drafting in like a reverse order of how they maybe should have. Falstad seems like more priority, even Muradin seems maybe more priority than Hanzo on this map. And of course, that's their sneaky pick, their ace in the hole for their last pick. We got the Butcher coming out. That's brave.
This was a European meta. It was actually talked about, it was feared, lamb to the slaughter, and then make him fly.
Yeah, you do have the combo there. You've got you lamb to the slaughter, and then you gust everyone else away.
It's like a wind chimes, like everyone's like...
It was what I had hoped that when Zari was released, when I was expecting the black hole to suck everyone in, I was really hoping that you could like sunder them and they would all get sucked back in, and I was kind of disappointed that that's not the way that interaction worked, but it does work that way with Butcher. Really strange last pick coming out from them. There's no blinds on the side of Storm Esports. They did get that Stukov, so they're going to have the physical armor at level 4, which should help against the Butcher. This map does go incredibly late, so he will likely get level 20. Although Butcher is fairly weak until 20, his level 20 is one of the best in the game with the massive AoE lamb to the slaughter, and there's no way to cleanse it for the side of Storm Esports. So if things do get really late in the game and Butcher's able to get stacks, they do have a pretty good win condition with level 20 lamb to the slaughter, with the level 20 Falstad wind tunnel. Overall though, I mean, Storm has just 5 S tier picks. It's hard to bet against that, but there is a Butcher, and that's going to just shake everything up in this game 5.
Thank you, Justin, for the analysis. I'm still reeling from this Butcher pickup, so we'll have to see what happens with this, as we have Volskaya Foundry, map number 5, and our first best of 5 of the day. On the left-hand side, Storm Esports, BBJ on the Stukov, Lauber on the Diablo, CPX to play Lunara, IBTings on the Tychus, and Dequaza on the Leoric. Over in the red, it's Granite Gaming, Skoog on the Hanzo, Red Robot on the Muradin, Carbon on the Falstad, Henning on the Brightwing, and Svampgrada to play the Big Bad Butcher. I have not called for a winner here. You know what? I'm gonna throw. I'm just gonna say. I did it. I wrote down Granite Gaming. Yeah,
no!
I done did it. Either way,
you just done and did it.
Either way, it's gonna be an interesting matchup to say the least. I do think that there is some craziness, some intrigue that really makes me excited for this matchup with the Butcher. I know it's a bit of a meme pick, but I do think, as you two were mentioning. Well, that's a really good phase shift just in time. As you two were mentioning, I think there is some validity to this Butcher, and we'll see how it works out. But what do you think about all this, Grubby?
I'm just wondering if there's a world where he doesn't get stacked. It's Volskaya Foundry. Could he possibly not get stacked? It seems almost too crazy to believe on Volskaya. So if it's too crazy, then he will get stacked. Therefore, by that logic, incontrovertibly, he's going to get stacked, and he's going to be dangerous. And Butcher that stack can't lose, right? Like, he's got so much damage. So I guess Granite can't help but win automatically.
Give him the win. Give him the win. GG, go next. We're gonna go ahead and get on into Wild Heart versus Oxygen. But it. Grubby, can we talk about the elephant in the room?
Butcher?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, but it's Butcher's skin.
Yeah, it's weird.
Not the biggest fan of it.
What does it remind you of?
It's like when I was a kid and I used to try and like draw things, and I'm a ginger, so I had freckles, so I tried to draw freckles. It kind of looks like that. It looks like my very, very bad Like I don't want to like flame devs or anything like that. It's just that's my opinion on it. Like it's
Demonic confirmed.
Red Robot, you can't get out of here. Actually, Red Robot can. The phase shift comes in. The biter committer is going to be immediately used by Storm Esports, and this will be the disengage. So I kind of think that was a win for Granit Gaming. They didn't lose anyone, and they got a biotic emitter out from the enemy team.
Yeah, exactly. Butcher was here for the opportunity of any potentially dropped meats. Looks like he lost something, got some meat, I'll pick it up. And not dying, like Butcher charging into a fight and not dying is a massive win.
What isn't a win is that kill into Murd, and yeah, I was just like, that's not going to work out.
This has been happening to Red Robot like 4 times. Like, this combo is lethal. Like, I feel worried for him. That's Muradin. How's Butcher going to look like if he ever jumps in? Like, every single time getting hard punished by Diablo's control, Stukov's silencing arm, and that big slow that Stukov does with that reactive ballista spores sometimes. Pretty insane.
Literally just pulled Swamp Grata out from the safety of his own.
Wow, the heal didn't proc, Brightwing did arrive. Whoa. That's a frame kill.
Yeah, that is something that can happen in here as a star. I think we've talked about that before, where it's just like it's a frame perfect kill where the phase shift comes through, but the healing doesn't. Oh my god. And now Red Robot, you talked about lethality. He's going to Dwarf Toss away. Doesn't have the Dwarf block at level 1. Went into the trait, the Third Wind. But he's taking too much damage. He's taking damage, so it's not going to proc. And bye-bye, a double kill to the side of Storm Esports.
Crazy reach by Storm with Lunara's movement speed and that massive slow from Stukov. Really crazy reach. It feels like every man on Granite Gaming is an island, just running away from the flood of Storm Esports. Like, it's constantly multi character versus one. Murden dying alone, Brightwing trying to phase in, but there's a 2-second window. Butcher dying alone, Murden dying alone. And they necessarily have to play rather passive. Like, most drafts don't feel this week early, and part of that is that Butcher pick, late game powerhouse.
He's just going to be able to, excuse me, Dayquaza, he's going to be able to back away. I was making a note really quickly, and I'm going to keep track of it for anyone wondering on just the lost stacks for Butcher, because when he does lose 15 stacks. Granted, when he gets a kill, before finishing out stacks, he gets 20 fresh meat. After finishing, well, goodbye. That's another 15 down the drain.
Minus 15 DKP, he's down to 2 merit points.
Youch.
2 meat. That's a big youch. At least Hanzo can't lose his stacks. He just completes his scatter arrow. So good job there for Skulk in the top lane into the protector. Yeah, maybe you actually won't get the 200 meat. Maybe I assumed too much.
It's definitely possible. 10 talent here, I think, is going to be really telling, because I think that's where Granite Gaming is going to be able to come online with their combos with the Lambda Slaughter plus the Gust. I think 10 is going to be a big power spike for Granite, and then 13, the Bronzebeard Rage, which should be massive for this Muradin. As BBJ's the target, he gets that reactive ballista spores, and it's actually Carbon who needs to barrel roll. Wow, that was a really good barrel roll angle, as here comes the Diablo Lightning Breath. Oh, Carbon!
Oh,
Carbon gets burned! He came back, and I don't know why, but the grenade was in range. Butcher is just trying to do something. He's got 5 stacks.
Run, Billy! Billy Butcher getting taken down by Ivy Tinks and BBJ. He charged in on a 30% health Tychus. This is even worse than the CPX Nova experiment on this map.
Oh, well, here comes a leaping strike from CPX as he gets chunked down to 50%. The phase shift from Brightwing is through. Butcher has lost a total of 35 meat.
And only because he didn't have more KKW.
No, quite literally, yeah. Actually, that is true.
Can't pluck from an empty chicken.
We have Red Robot. Red Robot is... okay, I guess maybe... Wait. Okay, the shadow... That was the weird shadow charge interaction as we talked about earlier.
Yeah, did Murden jump away and then stay there? Like, what exactly happened there?
I think like the shadow charge kind of collided with that little bit of sidewall maybe, and he got him midair. It did seem like the shadow charge connected onto something, but... well, the 10 talents is here, and you want to talk about experimentation. Look at that. Level 10 for Muradin.
Okay. Oh,
Haymaker
okay.
the Playmaker.
All right, here's the thing. We're doing what do you call those? You know where the boxers do training of like fast jabs against
the
little
speed bag?
Yeah, the speed bag mini boxing ball.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to be doing. We lamb to the slaughter people, and then Murden is going to go like bam, 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 bam with the haymaker. Mighty Gust comes in. It's going to be wind chimes. It's going to be speed bag. It's going to be a massacre, and it will not be delivered by Granite Gaming. It's a cool combo, but there's the lamb to the slaughter on Tychus. He can't do anything.
Oh, 10 HP. Oh, nope, not 10 HP. That's going to be a dead Butcher once again. Unfortunately, back to 0 stacks as he's lost 12. From that Death Skoog, very low as well. Diablo comes in. The damage over time will not yield a kill because because Henning had the blink heal just in time. And it's Storm Esports who are ravaging this entire map right now. They are quite the force to be reckoned with on Volskaya Foundry.
Yeah, it looks like Tychus is going to finish his 200 meat before Butcher. He's got 8 stacks of Master Assassin already. You know, I feel like they should rework Butcher.
Okay.
To also make the entire essence of himself, all of his baseline stats, a big gambit hero. So, like, not only can you lose meat that you've gathered, but you can also lose meat that you haven't gathered until you do literally 0 damage.
Why are you trying to hurt Butcher more than he's already been hurt? Why are you just like...
Cruelty, just plain cruelty and schadenfreude. It'd be so funny though to see Butcher charge in, do like 10% damage from the talent, but then like starts autoing and he's like healing people literally with his auto.
Butcher's just hanging out on the conveyor belts right now, and I'm just picturing Gambit talents for Butcher. And it's I
just
can't
a
picture
Gambit hero.
Yeah, pretty much.
Talents, just hero.
It's kind of like Illidan feels that way right now in general. Like
That's
imagine giving Illidan a Gambit talent. You'd have to give him like, if you die 10 times, then you lose it. And I'm sure people could still find that 10 deaths. But there's a Gust from Falstad to save a Red Robot as Henning does get the phase shift in. And note 13's for the side of Granite. They want to wait with the Triglav Protector in top lane being channeled by Leoric. 13, as I said, it's big for Red Robot specifically because he will have that Bronzebeard Rage. If you land a Stormbolt, you get a lot of damage, and you also get a lot of self-healing as Skoog goes down.
Everyone dies alone here for Granite Gaming. Quite sad to see it. Hanzo just starts running away. I don't know how BBJ even hits that long-distance pustule. It's really good awareness of what his character can do. Storm, they're playing it out comfortably. Must be funny to be a fly on the wall in their comms right now. As they are deconstructing this. You know, this build from Granite Gaming, it reminds me a lot of... If you play an RTS for long enough, you sometimes remember strategies that used to work 8 years ago. But your memory of it forgets that there's been 16 patches and 15 reworks. And you're like, yeah, this build owned. But then when you try it, you just realize why it doesn't work anymore. And this kind of looks like that. Butcher was good once, when people were worse, I guess. Heroes were different. And as I say that, anti-cursed, Butcher gets 57 meat, double kill, Granite starts to come back, and we're all gonna see a Granite Gaming victory, right?
You just cursed them, Grubby! Burden dies!
Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, oh my god, this is potent magic!
Right?
Black magic!
You're just like, oh, Butcher, he's not that great. Double kill. Oh man, Granite Gaming, they're starting to do better. Oh, Murden dies. Okay, well, either way. It is going to be a 10-2 in kills. And since we've had a lot of kills, regardless of early game, late game, we have like 5,400-ish experience just from heroic kills over to the side of Storm Esports, whereas Granite Gaming sits at 2,604 with just their measly 2 kills. But 71 stacks for this Butcher meat, the highest he's been when it comes to his stacking. And it's Volskaya Foundry. The game can go late. We also have seen some quick Volskaya Foundry games that end around Control Point C. It is possible for that to happen here for Storm Esports, but if Granite Gaming can hold on, I do think that the late game monster that is Butcher really could show his terrifying face.
Right now, Stukov hits twice as hard with his auto attack as Butcher. Yeah. So this 80 meat is nothing that Stukov is particularly impressed about yet. And while Stukov does have a slower attack speed, it doesn't really matter if you die after a single auto anyway. And it would be suicide to burrow charge in right now. Another great combo by BBJ on Murden. Red Robot is getting hammered. He's got the Haymaker. He's going to use it on Stukov. But he's almost going down to Ivy Tings. He's got to run away. Lauber drops low. Skog, some good shots. Great healing by Henning, keeping Skog alive. Very impressive.
Impressive indeed. The chase is on from Storm as we do have the spell armor given to this Butcher who just tries to turn around in the engagement. Bye-bye to 15 more stacks, but he is going to be sitting, this Butcher, at 73 meat right now. Top lane has a camp pushing in for the side of Granite Gaming, but Storm Esports aren't really too concerned about that. Seems like they want to grab more camps on the aggressive side of the map, maybe even take down mid lane Fort in this rotation to top.
Just about 2 turrets left on that. Nice shadow charge by Lauer. Funny how that stunned Falstad into a wall, but Diablo didn't follow. Weird how that sometimes happens. Fort goes down. Red Robo getting a nice double Stormbolt there. Kind of just, you've got Granite kind of just trying to make it to the late game now, to be honest. Yeah. Mighty Gust, 5-man Mighty Gust into the wall, and then you 5-man Lamb to the Slaughter, and then you do a Hammerang that reduces everyone's spell armor by 15 for 3 seconds. And as that just procced, Hanzo's Dragon Strike comes in the center, of course, where it does 75% more damage. And it's going to deal 150 damage every quarter second. So that's 600 damage per second. It's extra in the center. So how much is that? 75% extra on 600. That's 1,050. Then a bit more scaling. So he's going to do 1,200 DPS plus the spell armor. 1,500 DPS to everyone in the center. It will take only 2 seconds to delete everyone. And that's more than enough time with the Slaughterhouse combo. That's all they need to do. Just do that, and they're going to delete everyone in 2-second wombo combo.
That is a major deletion potential. Butcher is showing in top lane as he is getting more meat on that 90 stacks out of the 200. Lobber eats a massive scatter to the face, and keep in mind, you do have the level 16 Giant Slayer, which enemy heroes hit by scatter, arrow, and basic attacks take bonus 2% of their maximum health as damage. So just keep that in mind as Svamgrada tries to land the slaughter and doesn't manage to do so. It is going to be canceled out. There is a little bit of a delay on this for anyone that doesn't know. There's actually a 1-second delay. So there's a small window where people can, well, like as you saw, Lior can self-cleanse with the Wraith Walk, but even then, you can also kind of walk out of range of that hitching post. That doesn't matter though, because here comes a Hellgate, big lightning breath, buried alive, lightning breath, and that's a cooked goose as Falstad does go down. Swiftwing will fall. Haymaker saves Dayquaza, and I believe Brightwing got away with like 91 HP.
Yep, 89 the lowest I saw. Pretty impressive. As the Odin is still firing away. We got Storm getting that 1 kill with a pretty sick combo, lightning breath and buried alive. You get the keep. Odin passes and they fall back. So still a chance for Granite Gaming, but Storm doing a great job here. That should be a murder kill. BBJ is so good, man, with these roots. And with that, the question is, of course, why is Red Robot chasing like that, right?
I maybe Justin can answer that question for us, because it might be the end of the game right here. Ivy Tings doesn't have another Odin for 40 seconds. Rocket Gloves coming out from the core, and I agree with you. Stukov, BBJ is amazing with the Virulent Reaction, Lurking Arms, Weighted Pustules, all that good stuff. BBJ actually getting low right now as we cast a Curse him. We have 102 stacks for the Butcher. He will not fall. Oh, he will! Tygus finishes out Master Assassin. 15 more stacks will fall off the Butcher. The core is starting to fall. Falstad tries to do the lone defense. He will go down, and this is going to be game number 5 going over to the side of Storm Esports. I had faith in the Butcher. I really did. Like I joked a little bit about like, oh, Granite Gaming, they can win it and Butcher and all that, but I really did think, like, I felt like if Granite Gaming could get to that scaling point, they absolutely could have taken down Storm Esports in the series, but that's not the case. The case is Storm Esports took the victory up against Granite Gaming, and this is Storm Esports who will have the victory in map number 5. But we've got Justin back with us right now, and please, by all means, break down everything you saw in that game.
So we didn't see the win coming out from the Butcher, but we did have the fitness guru, Swamp Grotto, showing us not only how to lose weight while being vegan and playing on treadmills as Butcher, but also how to lose game 5 by picking Butcher here. So not the best performance. You've got 6 deaths on the Butcher. He really got bullied by Storm Esports. And I talked a lot about how Storm Esports, or how Butcher does enable a strong level 20 for the side of Granite Gaming, and Storm very aware of that. They played hyper aggressive on Volskaya, and they get 1 pick bottom. They immediately look to transition that into more kills bottom. It's just kill after kill with their level 20 advantage, pushing that, knowing that in a 5v4 or even a 5v3, they can just run to core and just take that fight on the core. They know that with that numbers advantage, they're stronger, and they opt to just try to end the game before level 20. So really good, clean execution coming up from Storm Esports. BBJ on the Stukov had a phenomenal performance here. He's my MVP by far. He had just incredible roots, really bullying Red Robot and Butcher, Swamp Grotto. So just really well played out there, getting that Stukov. I mean, getting Stukov late in the draft is kind of a blessing, and BBJ showed just why Stukov is so strong in this game. Lauber also played very well. Just the combination of the Stukov silence with the Diablo was so much early game pressure. Felt like there was really nothing for Granit Gaming to do in the early game. I also want to be a little bit critical of Red Robot's build. It didn't seem like he was super comfortable with the Haymaker. He ended up going with the Thunderclap level 4, the double W, instead of going with the Reverb, which gives you CDR on your ultimate, which works very well with the Haymaker. And then also going into the Healing Static at 13 doesn't make a ton of sense to me when you don't have that bonus maximum HP from the Avatar. And Red Robot kind of just getting bullied this game. Not quite sure what the Haymaker was intended to do, but this game was just non-stop aggression coming out from Storm Esports, recognizing that they do have a Butcher on the other side. They don't want them to get level 20 because Granit Gaming's level 20s are quite strong. They actually can win fights and probably have a better team fight at 20, even if Butcher's not stacked. But they just made sure that wasn't even an option. They had a 2-level lead, 10-8, and they carried that through all the way to the end of the game. So just really well played by Storm Esports and well-deserved in this game 5.
Game number 5 goes over to Storm. They solidify their ranking, I guess you could say, in HeroesCCL, as they are going to be sitting, I believe it is 4 wins, 3 losses. 4 wins, 3 losses. And that's going to be their placement. And there's some other map wins and losses and such like that we can get into a little bit later. Because right now we're going to get into an immediate interview with CPX. Can you hear us, my friend?
Yo, yo, yo. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations on your victory.
Let's take some pre-workout.
Okay, all right. It's pre-workout time. Well,
all right, now we can go. Thank you.
All right. No, you're fine. The question that I have to ask you immediately is, what was the reason for the roster change up today? Is there a reason you stepped?
Rutsu was on vacation. It's actually the same reason Gia wasn't there. I think they're like partying together in Copenhagen or something right now.
Oh, well, lucky them. But I was just curious a little bit about the change up on the roster. But either way, let me throw it over to Justin for a question.
So I was gonna ask about the pre-workout and if you'd taken it before this, but I see you've already given that one away with the sip here at the end, the victory pre-workout as is customary.
Celebratory chug a little.
Yeah, you got to do it. What were your guys' reactions to the Butcher pickup in Game 5 with their backs against the wall? What did you guys think about that, and how did you decide to play around it?
So, I don't know, BBJ and Lauber were just like, oh, this is the thing where they just like permanently gank bot lane, right? And then the other one was like, yeah, I think that's what they do. And so then I literally was AFK the entire game, soaking top mid, and then I just kept hearing ding, ding, ding in the bottom lane. So I think my teammates were right. So I guess what they do is they just pick Butcher, and then they permanently gank the bottom lane, but then I guess we were ready for it. I don't know how they knew, like my teammates knew, but yeah, honestly, that game was like, I was like almost falling asleep, like towards like level 16, 18, like I started wanting to int, like I was like almost sprinting into the enemy base. I was like so bored, but like we got the dub. So, and the curse is broken. There's a little bit of a curse, by the way. So far, every time we've ever said I was gonna do the interview, we lose. So I was a little nervous going into that game 5. So, but.
So you decided before the series that you were gonna do the interview if you guys win.
Yeah, so I didn't want it, but nobody asked me. Yeah, that's how it works. You always decide before who does the interview. So like but nobody like so there was so every time we've said it was gonna be me so far that we've lost, and then even when I'm playing and then it's not gonna be me, then we win. So like I was a little scared, but.
But do you think it's a mindset thing for you? Is it like nerves for you about interview? Are you more nervous to talk interviews here? Because you seem comfortable.
I know I'm a very interviewable person. I think it's just like I don't think it's a real curse. I think it was just a little bit unlucky. So.
Well, either way, it was a phenomenal series, a fun one to say the least. I mean, we enjoyed that game number 5. I hope you did as well, playing up against that Butcher. But CPX, before I let you run out of here, are there any shouts that you'd like to give? The floor is all yours.
Shout out to Storm, shout out to the boys, my teammates, and Twitch.tv, and Twitch chat, and Twitch.tv/FreePX, mic drop. Oh, and pre-workout.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, CPX. Congratulations on your victory. Enjoy the holiday break, and we'll see you a little bit later in the Heroes CCL playoffs. Good luck and have fun out there.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. Well, he's got his pre-workout in, and we just watched a Butcher lose 77 stacks. Yes, I did the math. 77 stacks. I did not have to use my caster calculator by any means whatsoever. But as you see at the bottom of our screen, it is going to be Storm Esports up against Granit Gaming in a 3-2, but that's not it because it just switched over. Thank you, production, as we have HeroesHearth Esports going up against Oxygen. This is kind of the anticipated game of the day, but I'll be honest, Justin, that last matchup went way further and was a lot more explosive than I anticipated.
Yeah, I definitely didn't expect to see it go to Game 5. I thought maybe you'd see it 3-1 coming out from Storm Esports, a little bit of fumbling it, and a little bit of Granit Gaming just really stepping up in those 2 games that they won. But glad to see Storm Esports close it out in the end, because for the standings, that's really important for them. It's less important for Granit. It's a lot harder for them to really move up. So I think it'll make things a little bit more interesting here going forward for the standings, since Storm Esports was the team that won.
It is going to be Storm winning that series, and as I said, we're getting ready for our next best of 5 of the day. We're going to see HeroesHearth up against Oxygen. It's going to be some really fun games, but as always, before we get into this, we got to do some map bans, we got to get some players into a lobby and all that good stuff. Before I send you off to the amazing interview with Kyle Ferguson, make sure you do !Kyle in chat. I do want to make sure and note this, that we do have the amazing prize pool for HeroesCCL. If you'd like to check out that prize pool, you can use !prize pool, and one more command for all of you in chat. We got Season 3 merch. !merch will get you over there, and you can get yourself some nice joggers, sweaters. There's some really comfortable CCL masks that even I'm taking mine to Michigan when I go for my my Christmas trip, because I have to, you still have to wear one when you fly. So it's nice and comfy, and the bands are on your ears. Like, that's the best part. But either way, my shilling for face masks aside, we're going to take a short little break here. In this break, Kyle Ferguson has an awesome interview with Zergling from HeroesHearth. Don't go anywhere. This is HeroesCCL presented by Wisdom.